Okay,
Hello.
and OBS crashed.
I'm already rating. OBS crashed. No.
OBS crashed. You guys crashed my OBS.
The following contains adult themes, coarse language, and mature subject matter. Viewer discretion and desire is advised. Hey everybody, thanks for coming in. Doing another episode of I Spy with My Little Eye. Today I'm talking with ObserverAndrea. Would you like to introduce yourself to the group?
Hi, I'm Andrea, or Andrea, whatever you prefer. I'm kind of a chill, cozy VTuber. I kind of like to keep it mildly PG-13. If you want to make innuendos, wink and nudge, that's fine. But we're gonna do something a little different.
Yep,
All right.
I have let my community know ahead of time that we're not getting into my usual kind of content.
Anyways, some of the games I play a lot are I like playing Stardew Valley, My Time at Portia, Cuphead. Those are some of the big three I'm playing right now.
Nice. I should really get back into Stardew Valley. It's been too long.
It is, and I actually had kind of a funny, awkward moment. I literally get rated most people I've ever had, and it goes right into I'm like, hey, I'm a fun, lighthearted streamer. It goes into a cutscene, and it's a sad cutscene. It was probably one of the most cringe, awkward things. I'm like, yeah, please like, subscribe, follow.
I promise, we're happy.
Yes.
Before we get too far into it, could I get your pronouns?
She and her.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem. Pronouns are weird.
A little bit. They can get tricky to get used to. So, what platforms are you on?
I am on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and Trovo. I do restream on all of those. I'm trying to be more active on Instagram as well, and I am uploading clips to TikTok, which I really do need to get on.
You and me both. Like, I'm on TikTok, but I don't actually upload anything frequently.
Yeah. I tried doing some of the, well-processed, edited TikToks, and it was weird. It was like, this didn't take off, but one of me, awkwardly fiddling with the game volume took off. The algorithms are weird.
They really are. The strangest things will just blow up and, everybody sees it.
Exactly.
So what inspired you to first start making content?
In general, or just, the VTubing scene?
Both, if you don't mind answering.
In general, I've been participating in National Novel Writing Month, which happens every November since I was a teenager. I used to do that. It's a lot of fun, and it was just something fun I would do just to help with stress relief and stuff. And as I got older, I always thought to myself, it looked like it'd be fun to do YouTube or VTubing, but one of the big thing was well, I don't want to show my face. I don't want to be, lewd or crude. And I found out, I'm like, wait, there's people that are kind of in the middle that are say-so. That sounds like a lot of fun. And one of my IRL friends inspired me. I asked him a lot, and I mean a lot of Twitch questions about, you hear all these horrible news stories, and they're like, yeah, that's just, one very, very, very loud vocal minority. And I decided, hey, why not? I'll give it a try. And so far, I've been having a blast.
Honestly, yeah, VTubing has been a ton of fun. I myself actually started as a quote-unquote flesh tuber where I used a face cam, but I switched to VTubing and haven't looked back yet.
I actually inspired that same friend. They are actually working to get a VTube model themselves. And I'm hey,
nice.
That's awesome. More the merrier. And I have yet to have really any bad interaction with trolls, because I thought, all right, they're going to be as bad as, IRL bullies and stuff. And no, compared to what I, dealt with, I'm like, you're not that bad.
Yeah, it's a little easier to deal with people online. You can just block and move on.
Block them. Exactly. even then it was just more of like, hey, will you show your face? No, no thank you. Will you show your face? Nope. And after that, I just blocked him.
Yeah, because if they're just going to keep hounding you, why bother keeping up that conversation?
Exactly. So I find it interesting. There is a trend going around, like VTubing versus, VTuber versus IRL.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off.
No, I was just agreeing with you. I know that trend.
Yeah, it's interesting because of, it's like, okay, you want to show your face. Some people, it's like, hey, I want anonymity. I don't want my neighbor to know, I'm a VTuber, be like, hey, I watch your stuff, and be just creep about it. That's one of the big things that attracted me to it. I'm like, oh, so I could just basically, let's say by off chance you blow up, you get a lot of people. It's like you can still go to the grocery store and not have to worry about it.
Yeah,
best of both worlds. And I don't know if I'll review my face. Probably not, but I'm enjoying it for what it is.
Yeah, honestly, you don't even have to. It's completely up to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to do it just because that's who I am. But it's not for everybody.
Exactly.
So, how long have you been creating content? Like, streaming in general?
Streaming in general, only actually 5 months, way back in, wow, this is gonna, that, 2012, I was inspired by, the critics, Nostalgia Critic and stuff. I did, a couple of those reviews on a dead channel. Didn't show my face. Yeah, he really inspired me. In particular, I love this character, Chester A. Bum, because I just thought it was goofy and fun. It's just some guy just, just like, oh, you love this movie in this, goofy way. But I did a couple of those, and then, it's like, oh, life, I'm like, oh, I kind of lost interest. Then it's like, COVID happened, and it's like, oh, maybe I should give that another try. I mean, why not? And I kind of waited a couple years for the VTubing thing to die down. I'm like, man, this could just be some weird fad trend. I want to do more research on it. And I found some great resources to those who are interested. VTuber Senpai and Sapphire have been really good resources on free stuff and how to get started. Because some people are like, oh, I gotta drop $10,000 on a model. No. You do not have to.
No, not at all. My model might look pretty impressive to some people, but I made it all myself in Vroid Studio.
Oh, wow, that is even more impressive than myself. I can't really draw. I literally just found a nice person on Twitter, threw some money towards their way and said, all right, I had a mood board. I like this shirt. I like these pants. I like this. Could you draw something like that? And this is what you got.
Well, the design turned out great.
Oh, yeah. Big shout out to my artist, Sach, on Twitter. They're really great. I've sent quite a few other people their way. But that's what's really inspired me to do that, and I'm kind of glad I have, because I realize I'm a lot happier. I'm not as stressed or depressed as I once was. I know some people complain about, oh, well, content creation makes me depressed and stressed. I'm like, then I think you're missing the point. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, then are you really working on the content you really want to do?
Exactly. Then maybe it's time to pivot or just, think of it as a hobby.
Yeah, just take a step back and reassess what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
No sense doing content you don't want.
Yep. I'm thinking of doing something a little bit more raunchier. There's a game I really want to play, but it's okay, it does get into some adult-heavy topics, so I might just end up being hey, call it salacious streams or something along those lines to give people a warning. Because I've been told, oh, yeah, me and my mom watch you together. I'm like, yeah, then maybe little Billy should sit this one out. Because it gets into some interesting stuff.
Yeah, there is definitely a limitation to content that you can share with everybody.
Exactly. The game's called Coffee Talk. It's really I had someone recommend it to me, and I did play a little bit off, you know, myself just to do some research. I'm like, man, would this get me demonetized? Would this be the right fit? And I'm like, wow, I really do love this, so I'm gonna try and make this work. And it seems like nobody's like, I looked on YouTube and nobody's done anything about it. I'm like, wow, this is like really good. It's very similar to Valhalla, if anybody's played that game, you know, service simulator, you meet unique people, that kind of thing.
Wow, this is actually really interesting looking. I'm gonna look into that more.
Exactly. It's it's kind of visual novelty, and I know some people who are like, yeah, it's too much for me, the visual novelty type access. I'm like, that's okay. There's all kinds of games, and one of my current things I've been spending way too much money on, and I joke with people about, is Humble Bundles. I just discovered recently what they are, and it's like, oh yeah, my Steam collection ballooned. I'm like, man, I wish I would have found out about this sooner, like years ago.
I know, right? There's been so many great things that have come out of Humble Bundle in general.
Yeah, I've been telling, people IRL about it, and I'm not the one who usually do that. They're like, okay, where do I do that? Do I go up to the Walmart and say, hi, I'd like one Humble Bundle, please? Humble Bundle is a digital game service where you can get, part of the buying goes to charity, like, $1, $2, but it gives you, a bunch of games for cheap. Some are, they're old games that aren't, super popular, or licensees, or there's a theme pack. You get, a lot of good stuff, surprisingly. I got off with the Ukraine bundle, and it was like, oh, yeah, you pay, $40 and you get, $2,000 of games. I'm like, well, I don't need to buy games for the next 4 years.
Yeah, there was actually one point where they had, all of the Pathfinder books for the tabletop game in, PDF format. Picked those up for, $20, $40.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a blast.
Yeah, they also have, the one I really want them to tear into is, I'm a big Sims nerd. I'm like, oh, you got a bunch of these obscure Sims games. Ooh, those are a lot of fun.
Honestly, they are.
But that's kind of like a hot take now, the Sims franchise, because of Sims 4. People are like, when Sims 5? When Sims 5? I'm like, oh, this reminds me of the Sims 3 days.
That's
everybody's like, what?
I haven't even played Sims 4 yet.
Oh my gosh, I spent way too much time in the Sims 3 character creator or making patterns. I spent way too much time. Yes, it was a PC killer, and yes, it took forever to load, but it was weirdly entertaining. But that is one thing I do miss from The Sims 4. I'm like, oh, I wish they could have it. But that's also what got me interested in modding, which I do play Stardew Valley with mods, because it took a few YouTube tutorials to figure it out, but it's like, oh wow, these are actually a lot more entertaining. They add some, UI improvements or Breath of Life,
Yeah, the
it's
quality of life improvements.
Yeah, exactly. I've been spoiled by modern games, so it's like, ooh.
Me too, honestly. I play with a specific mod in Stardew Valley that adds, a few characters in some areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the little map that shows you where they are, to, instead of sitting there, trying to be, sneaky, oh, yeah, yeah, just sitting there trying to, look it up on your phone awkwardly and act like you know what you're doing.
Just pull up the wiki. Okay, exactly. Sebastian's going to be out by the docks at 6.
Oh, is Sebastian your favorite character?
One of them.
One of them. I really do like Linus. I'm like, he's just a guy who just wants to live in the woods. I'm like,
such a sweetheart.
He is, and it's just he just wants to do his own thing. I'm like, you know what? More power to you. If you're happier, living in the woods by yourself, that's great,
Yeah.
Just don't be afraid to ask for help if things get tough. That's all. Exactly. And the program you use for mods is called SMAPI. SMAPI. And in case anybody is curious watching this.
We're very
sorry
loosely
about that.
touching on characters. There is a lot more depth to this, Crimson, so
Yeah,
enjoy
there is. It's this is like maybe like the first couple scenes you can see. Spoilers? Not even that. Like, they go in really in depth. Yeah, it's a fun little thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Definitely worth playing. I should probably do some Stardew Valley streams sooner or later.
Oh yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Do something a little different.
Yeah, honestly, most of my content is most of my streams have just been just chatting streams these days. I do want to get back into gaming and stuff.
I know some people that excel with just chatting, or they only play like the FPS shooter games, and I'm like, okay, that's all right, to each his own. I personally get bored playing shooter games, but I've always played games by myself. I never really had anybody to play them with. I'm like, I'm sure they're more fun to play with friends, but it doesn't interest me.
Yeah, exactly. To each their own.
So, and
go ahead.
A funny little joke. People call about the games I like. They call them, grass growing simulators. I don't mind making that joke. I'm like, you're not 100% wrong there.
Yeah, it is a farming simulator in the end.
Exactly. And it's like people that don't like action movies, Like, I know people that, like, legitimately hate action movies, IRL. Others not. Let's see. They're mostly talking about Stardew Valley. That was the biggest one. Well, my time in Portia, I'd say, is a lot more Minecrafty, except with 3D graphics, because you build a lot of stuff. That's another one.
I actually really like Valheim, but that's one that I don't like playing solo.
I've never played it before. Yeah, like tycoon games.
Oh yeah, tycoon games are awesome too. I used to play a ton of Roller Coaster Tycoon back in the day.
Yeah, that is awesome. I played I think a really, really generic version of Roller Coaster Tycoon way back in the day on my Mac as a kid. And I remember I didn't quite understand it.
Oh, I didn't either. It was just fun to see the roller coasters go.
Yeah, just the little people go in and out.
So, what would you say is the goal of your platform?
Honestly, I just want to create a warm, fun, welcoming environment where people can just hang out and have fun. Forget about your worries for a few hours just to relax. Because I'm gonna be honest, there's been YouTubers, people they've really helped me out of dark places and stuff. And I'm like, if I could do the same for someone else, I'd be just flattered.
That's wonderful. It's honestly one of the better goals to have.
Yeah, if I get big, I get big. I'm not too worried about it. I'm just having fun right now. And it's sad thing is, there is a issue with, I noticed, VTuber burnout. People I don't get big within 6 months to a year. It's just on X platform. Yeah, did you try everything else? Restream? Which I do frequently, but just do it for fun then, I understand you feel like I put all this money and I'm not taking off. Well, think of it as learning a new skill. This has been really interesting, learning about microphones, video encoding, Photoshop in particular. And I found a nice, generic free bubble of it, which is called Photopea and Canva, to those who are just I can't afford $200 a month for Photoshop. It's just really interesting overall. It's wow, I never knew there was so many nuances to content creating.
Honestly, there really is so much that goes into the back end of doing stuff. Even just the back end of my streams where we just sit back and talk for an hour or two.
Exactly, because I'm sure you got to do the pre-screening, hey, we gotta talk to the person, look through their content, make sure they're the right person, set up a date.
Yeah.
That is something you're the first collab, I guess, or interview that's actually gone through. So yay! You're the
Yay!
first.
I have had a pretty good track record of interviewing everybody that's actually expressed
Applied.
interest in doing it.
Yeah,
There was
because I think
one that had to reschedule because he had to do something IRL. It was his birthday. I can't blame him for that.
oh yeah, they should have fun on their birthdays.
100%. But we're going to reschedule that sometime next week.
Okay, well that's good.
Been
Like
at
there's a
this.
few. Yeah, there's a few that basically I think I did it. I wasn't even streaming yet. I got approached by a few people. It's like, hey, you want to join our group? I'm like, okay. Yeah, it didn't go anywhere. Or you want to do this interview show? Okay. And yeah, so far, nothing. You're the first one that's actually, like, oh yeah, we'll just. When are you free? Next week? Okay.
When are you free? Next week? Perfect. Let's call then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been at this. I think the first video actually came out a little over a month ago. And it's been a weekly release with one a week. But I'm actually going to be pushing that to 2 a week. Because, like, if I don't, this interview wouldn't come out for like 2 months on YouTube.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I am following through with this stuff. I just don't like how slow the drip feed is becoming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll have to like either schedule them like way in advance or curiosity, are you like editing them down to like bite-sized chunks or you're just like, nope, we're gonna throw the whole thing up there and just see what happens?
Whole VOD. I don't really take people out of context.
Okay, that's good.
Sort of. I find one clip that kind of stands out to me and put that at the beginning of the video just to grab people's attention with the hook, and then I just play the full conversation.
Well, that's good. Like as like a further down or preview type of thing. That's actually a really popular thing. Out of curiosity, what editing software do you use for the clips or the videos and stuff?
I use Shotcuts. It's actually free.
That is awesome. I've been trying to use DaVinci Resolve, and it is like a computer killer. It can be if you don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I had just quickly Googled free software, tried Shotcuts out, and it's like, oh, I actually kind of like this. I've been using it for 6 to 8 months now.
Oh, that is awesome. I'll have to actually look into that because that is one of the things I've been procrastinating on trying to do, like actual videos to like make stuff. I'm like, because sometimes I just can't stream. I don't got enough time or I'm just too tired and it wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, like, honestly, I'm a pretty lazy person. So what I like to do is, if it's not an interview, I will usually just take a segment out of my stream and then like 10-minute segment and then just throw that onto YouTube with minimal editing.
That is good though. Like it just talking to others, I'm like, man, I really need to get back into the shape of things, get out some of the bad lazy habits I have.
Yeah, there's millions of ways to approach content creation. You just got to find the way that works for you. And it took me, almost 1.5 years now to figure out how it works for me.
Exactly. And it can be daunting because you see all these huge people with like these massive followings and they're telling you like, no, do it A way. No, do it B way. No, they're both wrong. Do it C way. And it's just like, it can be anxiety inducing. My YouTube channel? Yeah.
It should be on your link tree, isn't it?
Yep, it's Linktree, everything. I do, one of the reasons I started restreaming is some of the regular viewers are like, yeah, I do not live in the United States, or I do, but my internet's not good for Twitch. So I'm like, oh, I'll just try this restreaming through YouTube, and it's great. So you always have kind of like a backup VOD. The hardest thing to do was to get to the 50 subscribers so I could do it.
Oh, that's smart. You prompt a subscription in your link.
Yep. Yeah, that was one of the hardest things to do. Like, I'm trying to do some more YouTube exclusive stuff. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Sorry for the habit there.
Quite all right. This is definitely about getting to know who you are as a person.
Oh, thank you so much for the sub. Yeah, there's not, some people play like all these elaborate characters, and I'm not that much different than the way I'm talking right now than I am IRL. Just maybe some little less awkward staring.
Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty much the same way as you. I'm pretty close to what I am just IRL. Maybe turned up a couple notches for entertainment value.
Exactly. You gotta love that, be able to lean into the jokes.
Yeah, just be yourself and lean into it, and people will take notice and start to like you.
Mm-hmm. And some of the big thing is, even if you find your content boring, like I've talked to a few people, they're like, yeah, I find mine boring. I'm like, doesn't mean someone else isn't going to like it. I mean, I've gotten into recently, like, I'll just have like background music on and it'll just be like ambient noise. I'm like, looking at all these views, I'm like, well, somebody else is enjoying this. If it exists, someone will like it.
Yeah, what's that old saying? If you build it, people will come.
Exactly. Like, I'm sure.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sure out there, like, I'm half joking, but I'm also kind of half serious, that there is a stream out there of someone literally filming a wall of paint drying, and there's probably somebody watching.
Yep, I wouldn't doubt that. Same with grass growing.
Exactly.
And you only know it's not a still picture because occasionally you see the blades move in the wind.
Exactly.
Like, literally, there is content for everybody.
Exactly.
So, what is something you wish you were taught when you first got into content creation?
The biggest thing was just, like, somebody telling me, like, I wasn't listening. I was being stubborn little brat, like, oh, well, I want to be unique. I want this. I want that. I'm like, if you just do a little bit more Googling, you're going to be able to find it. Like, overlays. I spent way too much for when my Live 2D debut is going to come out for custom overlays. And I'm like, wow, I could have just found what I wanted through Etsy. And my big concern was like, oh, well, what if I run into someone who has the exact same overlay? And there's only been one instance of that, and they were just using it as like a background for their avatar. So it's one of those big things. That VT Resources on Twitter, they have such good stuff. Those are like the two I wish somebody would say, like, hey, you don't have to spend several $100s on this. Just look this up.
Yeah, you just find some free assets, use that for a while as you really establish yourself and figure out your own groove kind of thing. And then you can work on trying to find more custom original art for how you want to design yourself.
Exactly, because a lot of people I've observed, they're like, hey, they've been doing this for maybe a year, and suddenly they're like, yeah, I'm rebranding to X or Y. Some are legit, and some are just chasing the trend, which is sad. I'm like, but do you really want to do that? Are you sure that's you in your heart that, like, another year down the line, you're still going to want to be this or that, and we'll just not see another year like, oh yeah, I'm rebranding to this now.
Yeah, some people will just regularly rebrand to build or follow trends, and honestly, I can't really blame them. That does generate views.
It does.
But you just chase the trends if that's what you actually want to be doing. I personally have a pretty niche thing that I will be eventually branding into, but that's like years down the line. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the basic layout. I know some pretty big streamers that are honestly just chat on screen, an alert that pops up occasionally, and their camera.
Literally, we're just using like a Discord call now, so if you want to ever do your own interview thing, we're just in Discord, and she's got like a little extension to make my avatar go up and down. This is how I started my first few streams while I tried it out, as a PNG before I got my model made.
Yep. I started out as a pit crew PNG myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I started using that because, like, I didn't feel like putting on makeup to stream today. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I can just use this Discord reactive image to make a little avatar bounce? Neat. And then it was like, oh, there's a program called Vroid Studio where I can make a 3D pit crew, essentially. Neat.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Yeah, I ended up paying somebody on Fiverr for, like, like a nicer V-Roy model, them to do it, like all the fancy Photoshop stuff. And funnily enough, I actually was like, oh, I got a new outfit. I want to debut it. And they're like, yeah, Andrea, we can't do half this stuff in V-Roid. It's too advanced. You need actual Blender. And I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe I'll do this as Live 2D. I'll get back to you.
If you don't mind my asking, what idea specifically?
I have like a fluffy coat I wanted to put on my avatar, and they're like, yeah, we can't make like a fluffy coat on Vroid without it looking janky. At least that's what the person told me.
There may be ways to do it, but usually with bigger clothing and items, yeah, you tend to need like Blender or Unity.
Exactly. Because I tried Blender, I'm like, man, I just don't have the patience right now for this.
Yeah, Blender is very complicated. I'm personally going to be going for Unity.
Yeah. There's a lot of actually like free Unity assets. I'm like, I might try that myself too. And again, with the Humble Bundle thing, I'm on there like looking at it constantly. I'm like, wait, they're giving more Unity stuff away? It's like they're trying to give me a sign like, learn Unity.
Yeah, honestly, I did start out using pre-made clothes from booth.pm.
Oh yeah, Booth has some really good stuff too.
And you can even filter out so you can find free assets there.
There's a lot of good sites too, so if anybody's there's kind of humming and hawing about it. And nice to meet you too, Humble. Welcome to this little Briley stream, so. This is turned more inspirational than intended, but still, I'm having fun.
I'm glad you're having fun. I am too. I actually really like these conversations.
Jeez. Something a little more chill.
Yeah. Though it would be nice, at least for me, I do kind of miss doing debates. I haven't done any of those since college or anything. But
wow.
I'm not really going out of my way to start shit with people.
Oh, yeah. Because in this climate, you're going to get, like, some, like, crazy person who's like, oh, I found out where your house is. You know, I'm like, yeah. But I've never been a super argumentative, angry person to begin with.
I have found I've become fairly confrontational with specific topics that are pretty close to home for me.
There's only been a handful of times I've literally, like, come out and confronted someone, and, like, because of that, someone has kicked me from, like, projects because they're petty. I'm like, okay, you do that then.
Yeah, like, if I have an actual disagreement with somebody, but we're working on a project, I will keep my professionalism because I care about the stuff I put out there, and I tie my name to, even if I have disagreements with people.
And it was over, like, you know, it's something trivial, like scheduling or whatever. I'm like, hey, you know, we're allowed to disagree to, you know, agree to disagree. And they're like, no, you're being super negative and toxic. Okay. The internet's just weird sometimes like that.
Yeah, sometimes you say an innocuous sentence and then it gets read wrong.
Exactly.
Text is such a pain to chat through. Is there a kind of content you've wanted to make or see but felt like it's too niche?
I've been wanting to, this is also going to be, like, really expensive to do eventually. I would love to do some, like, exploring VR chat content. Just, like, going through there and just showing it off. But the problem is, it's like, okay, how am I gonna, you know, not have the little kids scream, avoid the little kids screaming bad words in the background at the same time. It's like, I'd really have to do some, like filtering and a lot more research to do it too.
Yeah. I have seen a couple, like, VR chat documentaries that were interesting, but there's definitely other topics that could be explored with that.
Yeah, I think I watched the dark side of VR chat. I'm like, oh, this is actually really interesting.
That was a really good one.
I didn't know there was there's a VR church, there's VR club, there's a VR Kmart of all things. I'm like, which makes me weirdly happy that there's a VR Kmart.
People like what they like.
Exactly. And to those out of the United States or don't know what Kmart is, it's Walmart's broke cousin. That's a good way to put it.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
Then again, I've been into some shady Kmarts.
What's the biggest project you've got working on?
Currently my live 2-day debut. I'm currently working on that. I just received some assets for that. And the hardest thing to do is I'm trying to learn how to work the VTube studio, and I kind of want to test it out, see if it'll crash my computer or not. That's a big thing.
Yeah. My computer has been pretty fine with that, though it's about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Because I remember a few months back I tried playing Genshin Impact. And it was so bad. It was just this slideshow. I'm like, this is something I wanted to try.
That's unfortunate. Rudy, with the important questions, chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry ice cream?
Oh, chocolate.
Okay, we're
besties. Yep. Personally, though, on occasion, I like mint chocolate chip, though. That's also really good. But yeah, chocolate, it can either be terribly good or terribly wrong. Because you get the weird, skunky chocolate ice cream. It's like, ew.
Yeah, it's teach their own. I do like that chocolate marble myself. Though, if I had to pick a favorite, it would be bubblegum.
Ooh, I can't remember if I've ever had bubblegum or not.
Yeah, you have to go to, very niche, artisanal places sometimes to find it.
Oh. I've had Superman, which is, really good. It's also another niche one.
Superman?
Superman. It has, yellow, red, and blue in there. They also, some places, because of Superman, they don't want to use the life, and they call it Super Scoop.
Oh. Yeah, that does sound interesting.
It is. It's pretty good. I guess the best way to say it kind of tastes like sherbet, if you ever had that.
Maybe once or twice, but I can't say that I remember it by name.
Yeah, it's a weird, there's a bunch of weird, flavors out there. I know overseas I watched some, abroad in Japan videos, and watching them, I'm like, why do they have garlic-flavored ice cream? I mean, I don't know how that would be.
Garlic?
Yes, garlic, and they look like vanilla. I'm like, man, you could just be real mean to someone. You misread the kanji, and be like, oh yeah, that's vanilla.
I guess I'm a vampire then. There's a bubblegum blizzard, from Dairy Queen?
Oh,
that would be amazing. I've never seen it whenever I've been to Dairy Queen, but I also don't regularly go.
Yeah, I don't usually see it, on my normal job. I usually don't see a Dairy Queen, or when I buy off-pants chins, and it's oh yeah, it's just a regular Blizzard flavor. Bubblegum ice cream. Oh yeah, that would make it kind of chewy, too.
Yeah.
The drippy cones. Yeah, those are also pretty good.
Mm-hmm. The bubblegum ice cream that I usually have has little bubblegum pieces in it, and that actually slows me down from eating ice cream, because otherwise I just inhale it.
Oh, and you get the, really bad brain freeze.
Yeah. So having those little pieces of gum chunks in there, but it's not like a full-on chewing gum. It's easy enough that it'll break, or easy enough for it to break down in your mouth that it's not going to just sit in your gut forever.
Oh yeah, the triple fudge brownie is also really good too. Like,
ooh, it is.
I've had some that have like hot like fudge chunks in it. I'm like, ooh, is it really good? Which has actually slowed me down from eating because I'm like, man, I can't like bite this and have because it's frozen because I'll crack a tooth or something.
Yeah, that is a bit of a concern.
But still,
So, what's the biggest project you're currently working on?
Yeah, that would be the Live 2-Day debut.
Okay,
That's the one. That's the biggest one I'm currently working on. The next thing I'm also going to be doing is I'm currently have like a swimsuit model, and I'm hoping to, once I get OBS up and working, the new update broke it, go figure.
Of course.
Is just kind of like saying, hey, like a farewell summer, hi autumn. So I got some fun like autumn overlays and stuff, and possibly do some YouTube exclusive streams and see how those perform.
Yeah, make sure to hype those up on Twitter. That's how I've been drawing attention to my platform lately.
Yeah, Twitter is like, it's weird though. Like what goes on and what's off.
It really is.
Like the summoning circles, those are weird. Like to those that are on Twitter, it's like literally like I summon blank with a bunch of emoticons. To those who don't do it, and I just think I'm like, huh, kind of funny.
I've done those a couple. It's mostly I've been looking for people that actually engage back and we can chat somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like chasing that follow for follow.
Yeah, follow for follow or the bots. Oh my gosh, you say, hey, I'm looking for blank. Hi, hello. Hi, hello. That's all you get. Yeah, and it'll be like, how are you? Here's my profile. Here's my stuff. And I'm like, wait, this is like clearly stolen from Google here, Hey,
can you give me a shout out? Here's all my art. I do a reverse image search. I find the actual artist. I confront the actual artist, and they're like, oh my god, please report them with me.
Exactly. That is one thing I've heard horror stories about is people's models and stuff getting stolen by somebody. And just like, oh, well, there's a color tool in VTube Studio now that people can just do that.
Mm-hmm. It's pain in the ass. Honestly, I suggest if you're ever looking for an artist, don't put it in any of the text. Put it in an image. Say, like, looking for an artist. Looking for a commission there. Because otherwise, you're going to summon the bots.
Exactly. Some of them, how they have the VTuber support networks, like, hey, tag me and I'll retweet your stuff. Some of the bots have gotten smart and are tagging them, too, for their, like, scam businesses. I'm like, oh, no. Yeah. They're evolving.
Oh, yeah. Crimson was asking, what's the newest games the two of us have played?
Let's see. I, on or off stream.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a big thing, because I do a lot of play testing on and off stream, because I'm like, would this fit? Would this make my computer, like, sputter?
Newest.
But I've been trying to get through. The biggest three would be Cuphead, which has been very challenging.
Also on stream.
On stream, yep, on stream. Cuphead, My Time at Portia, which the characters kind of remind me of like that early 2000 Jimmy Neutron look, and it's fully voice acted. Those who don't like reading text, or you get overwhelmed, which is nice. And Stardew Valley, but some of the other stuff I play offline would be Prison Architect, Coffee Talk, which I was playtesting earlier. BioShock, that's a new one I picked up and tried. We did do Sonic Adventure at one point.
Ooh.
I'm hoping to do that again, the Director's Edition. I'm hoping to do it for my farewell summer stream, because it's kind of a summer-ish game.
Yeah, it does kind of have that vibe.
I also did for my bathing suit debut, Subnautica, which I'm like, it's a lot like I played Minecraft way back in 2012 when it was a thing. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like Minecraft underwater. I'm looking through all my stuff here. I happen to have my stuff open. Oh, another visual novel I had fun playing. I played most of it already, is Find Love or Die Trying, which is another freebie visual novel, which is like, the art is gorgeous for free. It's like, man.
Really?
Yeah, it is free. Needy Streamer Overload was another fun one I played.
Oh, I want to play Raft, but I don't have it yet. And I have heard you, Crimson mention that you can import your VRM model, so I could just play as my character, like my VTuber in Raft. So I actually kind of want to get it.
Persona 4 Golden is one I played in a while. Pistol Whip is one, because a sibling of mine got a VR headset, so we were messing around with that. Sunhaven's another one I played on stream and off stream, which is basically like if Terraria and Stardew Valley had a baby. Let me look at. Oh, Slide Rancher was one I did on stream for once, but it wasn't that. It was a chill game, but I was getting motion sickness from it. I'm like, yeah, I might have to ease up on that one.
Don't worry, Sensical, I'm not going to buy it. I can't afford it.
Yeah.
Okay, I am salty about
Starbound.
I own it. I'm salty about it.
Why?
I bought it for $15.
Ooh!
Yeah.
Does it not work? Or is it on sale?
No, it works. And the payment went through PayPal, went through my bank account, and I had forgotten to take the money out of savings, put that into my bank, or into my checking. So it went into the negatives.
Oh,
so
no.
The purchase went through, but my bank charged me $45 for the NSF.
Oh, ouch.
And
that is brutal.
Before the NSF, I put enough money from savings into checkings to balance that out. And then the NSF hit and put it back into the negatives. So guess what hit again?
Oh, yikes.
So guess what cost me $100 fucking dollars?
Damn, that is crazy.
I'm a little salty.
Yeah, you have every right to be.
It's a good game, honestly. I'm just salty because of my experience.
Exactly. You know, your experience with the bank and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I've had that happen. Like, I'll have, like, I have family members' name on my account. Like, I'll have my dad or something on there. It's like, oh, wait, did one of your parents accidentally overdraw and they forget to tell you? Or you did the same and your account's now closed? That happened to me when I was really young, and I was, like, in tears. I'm like, because that was, like, my life savings, and, I was really young at the time. I'm like, I only had, like, $800 at the time, which is still a lot of money, but when you're, like, 15, 16 years old, it's like, oh, no.
Yeah, that would be a very... I'm gonna go with traumatic experience.
It was. Also other games I played was Fable Anniversary, played that on stream, which I decided to do an experiment with that one, is because I was, I usually work nights late while I was still playing around with my scheduling, and I still am. I'm like, I wonder if I could be like these people who are like, yeah, I just got off a 14-hour shift, and I'm gonna stream for another 12 hours or something like that. And it was just, I'm like, yeah, I'll try this after work. And I was a little goofy and stuff. And it wasn't very good.
Yeah, it's honestly tricky to balance work and streaming.
Yeah, having a full-time job. So I found out the best method for me is I just do it before work. A lot of times it's easier, though. Some of my viewers are like, oh, I live in the same time zone as you, EST. Yeah, it's like, what, 9 in the morning? I could do it before school. So that's a little bit tricky.
Yeah,
Cuphead. I got a lot of games on here. Oh, I just remembered. I recently picked up the Resident Evil pack off of Humble Bundle, which is pretty cool.
nice, nice.
There's a lot I've picked up, and it's just like over 6 months. I had like 6 games on my Steam account. Now I have 308. Yeah, it's blown up.
Yeah, that the humble
I'm
bundle
sorry,
can really
Red,
do
that
that.
you're sick. I hope you get better soon.
Yeah, they've had a lingering cough for a while. I hope it goes away too.
Yeah, I work in the healthcare field during the night, so it's like I hear, it's like I get the pandemic has made everybody really anxious and stuff, and it's like, oh, it's actually inspired me to stream and just do this for fun as a stress relief. Yeah, the numbers are going up. Like, it's really sad too.
Mhm.
It's very frustrating too for a lot of people.
It is.
But I probably never would have bothered streaming if COVID wasn't a thing, and I decided, hey, you're in a bad place right now. You're in a really bad job. You can do better. You can move on to a better job, which I did end up doing. It was in another facility, but still.
It's been 2
I'm
months
sorry,
now.
Red.
Aw. Also,
Yeah, that long COVID is hard.
Also, Seraph, I didn't actually know you were a humble partner. That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
As for me, the games I've been playing offline, I've played a little of that new Ninja Turtles with a friend offline.
Oh yeah, I seen an ad for it, the Shredder's Revenge, right? It's like a new updated port of like the NES, if I have to guess one.
It's like a spiritual successor / reboot to it.
That is awesome.
A lot like the same, but there's so much improved upon it.
Mm-hmm.
It's also up to 6 players.
Oh, that is fun.
Aside from that, 7 Days to Die, Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, I tried that recently too. That wasn't. It was all right. It just wasn't my thing. I wasn't into it. I do actually have 7 Days to Die on my account. Funnily enough, I just haven't tried it.
I personally recommend it, even though it is one of them shooters.
Yeah, well, I might try it out. Oh, like, I forgot one more. Among Us. I did try that, and I'm like,
yeah,
this must be a lot more fun with friends, though. It's one of those like, yeah, this would be better to have.
Yeah, I've only ever really played it for like collabs with other streamers, and that was kind of fun, but it's not something I'm going to be playing in my off time.
Mm-hmm.
But,
and I heard they made Fall Guys free, so if anybody's interested in that, and it was kind of like holding off like I was, I'm like, am I going to play this? They did. It's on Epic Games, so.
Oh, that's why I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so that's something you guys can look into. Wow, it already has been an hour. We're having a good old time. Oh, I love to play with people,
It's a ton of
fun
to
future
play.
collab maybe.
Do you really know anything about 7 Days to Die?
No, not really. It was one of those things I'm like, oh, it's for cheap. I'll try it. I believe it's I'm thinking this or Dying Light. It's like serial killer. Want to use a serial killer and last one standing wins or something.
No. 7 Days to Die is essentially Left 4 Dead plus Minecraft plus Skyrim.
Ooh.
And it has Twitch integration.
Oh, wow. No wonder I hear about so many people wanting to do it like that.
It is a ton of fun, and you can actually have a ton of people on one server playing together.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check it out then now.
100% worth checking it out. You can set it so that chat can only give you buffs, or only hinder you, or do a mix of both. Summon items, summon enemies, that kind of thing.
Oh wow. No wonder like it's so many streamers I hear talk about it. That marbles was what I looked into when I first started streaming. I'm like, but how can I don't think I'm confident enough or have a big enough following to literally narrate people doing marbles or an interesting enough prize for chat to participate.
Or you just have some kind of conversation going on in the background while you're talking, and there's just marbles going around on screen while you chat.
Exactly. That or I think I'd get distracted weirdly.
Yeah, some people would.
Alright, anyways, as you were saying, other games you played.
Yeah, I actually don't play too many. I'm such a gamer. One that I do want to get back into, it's called The Isle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody has heard of that one.
No.
It's a more of a niche game. Essentially, it's dinosaur simulator.
Ooh, like Ark?
I don't quite know. I don't think I played Ark, but essentially...
Neither have I. I know they have, like, it's like caveman and dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah, but when I had played, it was only the dinosaurs, where you're hunting for little prey, or you go hunt other dinosaurs if you're a carnivore, or you just go find, bushes, berries if you're a herbivore.
That kind of reminds me of, like, a game I played when I was a little kid in the, like, playground. Something we would play. That actually does look interesting.
Yeah, it's worth checking out. Especially if you can get groups of people together to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, playing as a group of raptors, that would be a hell of a fun stream.
I can already hear the T-Rex meme, that MF from T-Rex. I can just hear that in my head right now. On loop.
Oh, the longest dinosaur I played in that was a T-Rex.
Oh, wow.
Ark is a survival sim more? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, one of the other games I played way before I started streaming. This was like, wow, has it been like 3 years since I last touched it? Was Persona 5 Royal, which is a lot of fun.
I've heard
as
that
you
was
see, I'm a bit of a
popular.
weeb. Yeah, as you can see, I believe, if I'm not misremembering, it's coming out to PC soon. So that'll be awesome for a lot of people that are kind of like, they're like, oh, I can't afford a PlayStation 4 or this and that. I know there are sequels, Strikers, which I wasn't really impressed with. Came out on PC. But that's going to be awesome. It's, it's going to be coming out for a lot of people, it being their first time.
Oh yeah, I've also been playing a bunch of Diablo 3 lately.
Oh yeah, Diablo. I've heard about it. I've heard like the news of, because I watch a lot of the gaming news shows, Inside Gaming, people talking about it. But I've never actually played it.
Path of Exile is a good way to check if you actually like Diablo-like games, because that one's free to play.
That's even better.
Yeah, they play fairly similar, and Path of Exile is pretty open for the character customization with builds and stuff.
Ooh.
Let's see, what else is on my list that I would like to get back into? Oh, I do miss Project Zomboid.
Ooh, I actually picked that up recently. I actually found one of the YouTubes I like, because I was looking it up, Ambiguous Amphibia, and him just doing that. I'm like, wow, this actually
Ambiguous
seems
Amphibian?
like... Yes, on
He's
YouTube.
Great.
He is, and like, I'm surprised he didn't blow up sooner, because he's just so well spoken, and it makes me wonder, I'm like, does this guy, like, is he naturally like that, or does he have like a thesaurus next to him?
I do believe he plays it up a bit for his videos, but I have caught some of his streams, and he's genuinely kind of like that.
Oh, wow.
He is also, or they, I'm not sure, they're actually pretty humble. Somebody had dropped a pretty generous tip, and they stopped the stream. Oh my god, thank you. What can we do to thank you? And it's like, wow, I like that guy even more now.
Mm-hmm. He also got me into Prison Architect because I was having fun playing that for a little while.
I've heard good things about that one.
It's a little hard because I'm literally was running it off a laptop, so trying to do it with the trackpad, it makes it difficult. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to
Ooh,
get like an external mouse to do it.
yeah.
Oh, what was that one? I'm thinking there was it was like this Martian Simulator one. I'm blanking on the name now, but I remember I tried playing it because I got it as like a free one on Epic, and it's like Kerbal Space Program, anyways. But
Okay.
it was, yeah, it looks like fun. It's just like, oh, you need an actual mouse to do this game. Okay, because I'm literally right now. I'm playing off a laptop, and what I would do if I was, let's hypothetically say I'm streaming, is I read chat off my phone.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have a dual monitor setup. I have kind of a janky setup.
Yeah,
I might
I've known
eventually
quite a
upgrade.
few
I'm not
people.
sure.
I imagine as you get more accustomed to it and liking it, you'll start investing into it when you can. But I've known quite a few people that if they aren't still on their phone, that's how they started out, reading chat off their phone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I remember something else I could bring up. Speaking of phones, one of the big popular items are stream decks. Oh my gosh, I hear so many people saying you need a stream deck, you need a stream deck. Want to know, let you guys out a little secret. To those who want to be a streamer, you don't need a stream deck. There's some apps they make it on your phone, so you could use it like that. Is having a stream deck nice? Being able to play goofy noises and stuff? Yeah, and change your scenes is nice, but you know, you use what you got.
There's free apps?
Yeah, I think there's like a free app that you could use for as like a makeshift Steam Deck to change your scenes on OBS or
If somebody
you
can drop the
know.
link to that, that would be handy. Because I've been
Yeah,
wanting one, but I'm not investing in one. I got more bigger priorities.
yeah, I'll if not I'll look if no one can find it here, I'll totally look it up afterwards.
Please do.
Yeah, no problem. Like I enjoy sending people this way. It's like it's a you know, I've been trying to get my younger sibling into streaming too. As hilarious as that would be.
Let's see. I have been wanting to play Jet Set Radio again.
I actually picked that up recently for they had like a Dreamcast bundle. And
Oh,
I remember
nice.
one of the games I played so much as a kid. Between the Chow Gardens and Sonic Adventure, the Dreamcast version was Bass Pro Fishing. That game, I played that so much.
Oh, my big Dreamcast games were Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Jet Set
Yes.
Radio, Phantasy Star Online, and Sonic Shuffle.
I love Sonic Shuffle. Oh my gosh, with the like funny
Oh,
mouth flaps.
I loved it and hated it because the bots would always cheat.
They were so cheap, and it's like, oh, you don't have a Nintendo, you don't have a GameCube, and your friends, it's like, oh, one friend has a PlayStation, you have the Dreamcast, and you have that one friend who has a Nintendo, but they don't have Mario Party, so it was
So
like the
you
first Mario
bust out the
Party-ish
Sonic
game.
Shuffle.
Sonic Shuffle, man, that is just a trip. And I remember, like, you couldn't pause with the story. Like, I remember, like, staying up till way, way late as a little kid, just trying to get to the end of the story. And how just goofy the voice acting was, but I didn't care. I was having fun.
Honestly, I couldn't make it very far into that game because we
I think,
couldn't beat the NPCs. We always got stuck at most like level 2 or 3.
yeah, I got stuck at, like, 3.
Your brother found a
Because
PS5 at a Shoppers Drug Mart? Lucky.
oh, wow, that is nice. That is, like, a nice drop.
Yeah, that's very lucky to find.
Exactly. Because especially it's sad. It's a hard thing to find now. A lot of the newer consoles.
It really is.
So I've been looking into refurbished stuff too, but it's like part of me's nervous. I'm like, oh great. It was one that you get disc too. Oh, that is awesome.
Ooh. Wait, the PS5 stopped doing discs?
I thought the Xbox did that for not like they have like a digital exclusive version. I'm like, ooh, that could be a hindrance and a help, depending on what your internet situation is. Because I know some people that literally they'll go on vacation with the pack up the game console for at night and just play it.
Well, that's pretty good actually. If you can have access to that, more power to it. But I definitely would want to make sure that I have access to playing my games and stuff without dedicated internet.
Exactly. That's why it's kind of fascinating time now of cloud gaming. Like, I understand you're trying to be like the Netflix next, be like, oh yeah, you can stream this, you can stream that, but not everybody has good internet. It was maybe only till like 2-3 years ago I got reliable internet in my area. I was living out in a very rural part of town, and it's kind of funny because if you go across the street, that company covered it, but our side, oh no, they don't cover it. Nobody did.
What the hell?
Yeah, the internet companies in the US are very goofy.
That's one way to put it, and what I've heard. I'm personally in Canada, and we've got like two or three big companies that really run everything, and there are smaller ones trying to break out, but oh, they overcharge us still.
They do. Yeah, I'm currently with Comcast, and I heard some people saying, "Oh, you're going to regret it, Andrea. You're going to regret it." And believe it or not, they've been quite lovely to hearing all these horror stories. They've been great. I've had no issues getting a hold of them or anything, really. Even when we had a big tornado come through about a year ago, everybody was all right. It just knocked out some power, internet, and stuff. We're for a few days, and they repaired it fairly quickly.
That's actually good that they had a quick response time.
Exactly. Well, I have them text me through my phone to, let me know about internet if it's down or not. Bell and Telus, I've heard of those, but here we have Comcast, and what I can think of is Xfinity, and if you're in the western part of the United States, I think they got Frontier, so there's basically three.
Yeah, there's like a handful of them that are actually available. And for the most part, it's like you get your choice of one internet provider in your area.
Exactly. With ours, it's like, okay, do you want to try to do satellite? But, like, I heard mixed things about satellite internet. Like, some people are like, yeah, it's great. Others, not so much.
Yeah, it depends on the area and availability of the satellites.
Yup. Altitude has a lot to do with it, too.
What skill would you say has taken you the longest to improve?
Well, the biggest thing that's been taking me a while is a lot of the more artistic, like editing has been a little bit tougher, learning how to do that, because I've been switching programs here and there. Technical support has been really challenging because the biggest thing I've had to learn how to do is you're always going to have stuff. Your headphones aren't going to work. Your mic's not going to work. This is not going to work. That has been like the biggest thing to learn to deal with.
Yep. There's always going to be something messed up on the back end.
Exactly. The big thing is I got these really nice new headphones. They're those bone conducting ones, and I'm like, ooh, those would be great to stream with. But it literally like took out my microphone and a bunch of other stuff. So it took a little while to, fiddle with, and I'm like, yeah, so the minute I turn these off, it's gonna knock everything back out. I'm like, yeah, I think I'll just stick to these with the personal ones.
Yeah, like I've got Bluetooth headphones as well, but if I use those, I can't hear any of the sound alerts that play on my stream. So I gotta
Mm-hmm.
use some breaking wired headphones just so I can actually monitor that.
Exactly. Because I feel rude not saying, oh, thank you for the follow. Hi, how are you? You know, because I'm like, I don't want to ignore anybody or make anybody feel bad, like, oh, well, she's too stuck up to say hello. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I do try my best to engage with people. I do also want to focus on the guest when I'm in interviews,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but it's not like I'm running a super professional interview. It has to be like this, like this, like this, like this.
It's
It's
very casual.
it's super casual, get to know each other kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's especially great when we're interacting with chat.
Exactly.
It helps
It makes
showcase
it
who
all the
you
more
are.
entertaining.
Hmm.
That, and I've noticed it's a little trendy because I'm playing the stream on my phone. You got the little pixel people down there,
Yeah,
which
I've
I've
got
noticed is popular with some streamers.
I've got stream avatars going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little panel in my about section where people can just pick whatever avatar they want to display on stream, but only followers get displayed on my stream.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some other people do that, or some like believe I watched like someone they had like birds version of it. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, the birds. Yeah.
Yeah, there are so many options available. Right now, I've got like a ton of different variety stuff. How do you choose? It's in my about section on Twitch. There should also be a thing for avatars. Too many avatars to list. Use the extension instead. Yeah, you're gonna have to use the extension. Eventually, I would like to get like custom little art done for those avatars.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there is actually a ton of stuff in the back end for those avatars. You can get equipment and different clothing to customize them, but I haven't
Ooh, you
added
can have
any of
like a
that yet.
little mascot your little mascot, because I know some people
Yeah,
have mascots hopping around and stuff.
yeah. And there's like even boss battles you can do, battle
Oh, wow.
royales. Um, you can drop a bunch of bombs to knock everybody flying, and then everybody comes back. But like, there are some people that have it set to everybody in chat is going to have a avatar, but
Hmm.
that can really mess with you a bit.
Exactly, especially because you just get some people that are just lurking. They got them,
Hmm.
they're doing homework, cooking in the background. They got something on
Yeah.
there.
Or if it's like one of those bots just sitting in your chat, not
Oh,
actually
view
contributing
botting.
to your viewers, and it's just
Ooh,
it looks like there's more
that is a
people in there.
controversial one. Like people about view botting. Like that's like a
No,
hard way.
like even in my chat right now, there are bots sitting in chat, but nothing going towards my viewers. So that's
Oh,
why I set my
wow.
avatars to only display followers. And then their
Mm.
names only show up if they start chatting or when they first enter.
Yeah, that is tricky though. Like, people that do legal view body, it's like, okay,
There's legal?
there's legal view bot and there's ways around it, and it's like you are playing like a dangerous game with Twitch there.
Yeah. And especially, like, do you want a bunch of false eyes making you look big but getting, like, zero interaction?
Mm-hmm.
Is that really
That's
what
a
you
problem
want?
on Twitter I noticed with some people. Like they have their bots. And it's like, okay, you have, I'll take a broad example of someone I was chatting with recently.
Random.
They have 20,000 followers on Twitter. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. So I made some weird little off joke about their post and we start talking. And what happened is I'm like, why do these people only have like 2 or 3 people always react, or these same bots, and they're literally labeled bots, are just retweeting right after them? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Then most of your followers are probably GFX bots or something like that.
Probably.
So a big thing, for people, big number does not mean big community.
Mm-hmm. Like, I've seen people few thousand followers on Twitter, and then I go check out their Twitch streams, and they're about the size I am. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
the scale really shifts with social media platforms.
Exactly. And some of these people, like some of these artists I've been looking at, I'm like, your stuff's so pretty. Why don't you have a bigger following?
I know, right?
It's just crazy.
I can't
Well,
imagine how hard it is for newer artists to really get established, because they would post their art and then like people would only see, oh, like 20 followers, and then it would be like, oh no, that's probably a bot. But
exactly. There's a few
just
I
gotta
talked
keep
to
doing
that are legit trying, and I kind of had to be like, look, I understand you're trying to be aggressive and you're like, oh, I want to get my hand in the door, but you're making people kind of agitated. And like, you're better off doing like a few drop your PNG type things or fan art ones to get people. That's how I met a few artists, at least. So you see, like, oh, this is a real person.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be good. It was like,
could also
oh, good.
be just putting out your art regularly somewhat, as long as the art style is clearly yours. You're not, you wouldn't get any issue from me about you're only posting your own work.
Exactly.
Like, everybody wants to work on their own work, but sadly, the best way to grow as an artist is fan art, because that's what gets the clicks.
That's how I found my character designer. I think she did some fan art of Calliope Mori, and the thing that didn't attract me was the model itself. I love the detail they had in the background was the bricks. And I'm like, those are some nice bricks. And I'm like, I'm gonna message this person, see if they do commissions.
And then I guess it turned out they did.
Yeah, it did. And there was a bit of a language barrier too. That's another thing I've noticed that can be a bit daunting. Some people...
It can.
It's like, oh, English isn't your first language. I understand it. A lot of my relatives, English isn't their first language. So it's like, English is hard. And then you get American English, and that's another circus in general.
There's like, what, 30 different kinds of English now?
Yep.
It gets a little bonkers.
Exactly. English is hard.
It honestly is. It gets super duper confusing.
And I've tried to learn a little bit of Japanese. I was literally asking them, like, is there such thing as, like, slang in Japanese like there is in English? And apparently not. Which I found kind of interesting.
Huh.
Because I'm like, there's
that would just be a universal thing.
Yeah. It's Asperger's.
Wait, you have that many channel points already? Nice.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
So, how do you like... Go ahead.
Some little fun fact about, I know a little bit of Lithuanian, and I speak it is, like, in a very slang, countrified dialect. So it's like, I could imagine just trying to talk to somebody from Lithuania on the street. They're going to kind of look at me funny, like, who is this kid? Are they making fun of me?
It can be tricky. Like, I did a little French, but I cannot hold a conversation. And if I were to like go to Quebec or France, and if I tried to use it, they would just tell me speak English.
Exactly. Most places can speak English, and the ones that are working towards it, you're awesome, you rock, keep up the hard work.
100%. And also retain your language knowledge.
Exactly. It is a lot easier when you're young than when you're older for it to stick.
It really is. So how do you like to spend your free time not working on content?
Oh, when I'm dependent, I like going to the beach. I'm really into dog walking. I do that a lot as well. I
Okay.
would love to one day do like a charity stream for like people that match them with like dogs for the blind or whatnot. That's one of my big goals I'd like to do as a charity stream.
That's awesome. Do you have any specific charity in mind yet?
One I would like to do, I need to do a little bit more research on is Pause for a Cause. They help people that, that need dogs for the blind or, people with autism. They, severe autism. It helps them with sensibility stuff. I think they also do epilepsy dogs as well. It's been a while since I've looked into them because at one point before I even thought about content creating, I had wanted to train dogs for them, but that didn't pan out at the time. Didn't have the space for it.
Yeah, that's probably a good one to check out at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause you
I don't
do
know
want
if
to
they
be
have
picky
anything like
about
that in Canada, but it's a big deal in the U.S. too.
I actually don't know if there's any charities out here off the top of my head, but I'm willing to bet there are.
Mm-hmm.
So where would you want to see yourself in 5 years?
Ideally, I would love to be able to do a professional streaming, but if not, hopefully I can at least, improve some skills enough that I can, get paid doing some creative work, whether it be Photoshop, video editing, or just, learn more about myself and the process, be like, oh, I have a little nice side hustle, coming back from a long day, from work.
Yeah. That's honestly, I'm the same. I'd rather not be working construction, but I do view this as a hobby, something I'm doing in my off time. I'm not doing it to get big. I just like
Ooh, then you're
talking to
out in the
people.
elements then.
I am.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
Last winter, I worked literally outside during the coldest days. That wasn't very fun, but
Ooh.
you gotta make money.
Exactly. It's a big boom right now, at least here in the US for construction workers. We're desperate.
We've got a supply shortage, so I've been out of work the last month or so.
Oh, that is very, very rough and tricky. I do nursing, so it's like, this is a way to relax because I can't exactly be rude to a patient.
No, not really.
And I'm glad that we don't have the mask because it's like, oh, I don't have to sit there and, pretend to smile. It's like, I know the trick with my eyes, like I'm smiling.
Yeah, you can really smile with your eyes, and you don't have to reveal the face to actually convey that you're smiling at people.
Exactly. And I did retail there for a while, and it was very frustrating, the whole traditional service with the smile. I'm like, why? That's creepy. I've always been on that mindset.
Just wear a mask with a smile on it.
Exactly. I've drawn ones with smiley faces on it. There you go. I'm smiling.
Perfect. Do you have a favorite music genre?
I like a little bit of everything, but a lot of times I'm really into alternative rock. One of my favorite bands is The Muse.
The Muse. Not
Or Muse.
Muse? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I know
I don't know
Muse.
if they go by
Is there
the
an
Muse
indie
or
band?
Muse. Yeah, they're the British one. They're the one, I believe they came out with like a new album recently too. And it's really good.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I know I've listened to Supermassive Black Hole quite a few times.
Oh yes, that is just, I've heard that so much. I'm like, wow, that just feels like a time period of like 2006 where you're hearing it everywhere. Or Knights of Sidonia.
Yeah, that was the other one that I've heard of them. I'm sure I've heard other ones as well, but they're not jumping to the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Muse
3 Days Grace
really
is
big
another
for my
one I
older
really
brother.
like.
Pardon?
3 Days Grace is another one I really like as well.
Oh, yeah, I listen to them a lot, though I haven't really checked out their stuff since Transient of Venus.
Mm-hmm.
But what was that, like 10 years ago now?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was when was that the first singer split from the band?
Yeah, I think they did. I know Break is also a good album as well.
Oh, that was probably one of my favorite albums of theirs. They do.
Actually, I do, yeah. I'm hoping, ideally, depending on how this goes after this, I might go live. I'm not sure. I might just, once we're done with this, take a little break, get a snack and probably go back at it.
Yeah.
Because I'm having fun right now.
Well, if you do want to stream, I can definitely hang around for a bit, talk to chat for a while, and then raid right into you.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. But why don't we just keep talking for now?
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
We're like halfway through the questions.
Exactly. So, all right, and you're saying?
What song would be played endlessly on loop in your personal hell?
It's a Small World After All. I remember when I was in high school, they had this, they had this brilliant idea. They're like, oh, well, we're going to put It's a Small World After All on the PA, on blast, and we're just going to be like, you want the music to stop, donate to charity. I'm like, that's extortion, though. That's messed up.
That is extortion.
And I remember, some people loved it. The funny thing was, but what happened was, it wasn't the students that started freaking out. Just a lot of them would just put their headphones on and just, ignore it. It was the teachers that got sick of it. Literally went in there and just, just shut it down. I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you after a week of hearing that.
A week? Jesus.
Yeah, it's like, it was just super messed up thinking back at it. I'm like,
I'd say the funniest prank I've ever seen in schools was when I was doing college at Art Institute of Vancouver. I was studying game design. And the graduating class, or at least somebody in the tech part of the graduating year, had taken over the monitors all around the school, because the school typically had computer monitors, TVs, showing off different art from alumni and current students. And instead, every single monitor was synced up to Slack a Circus, Hey Ya, Hey Ya, Hey Ya, Hey. It played for 2-3 days straight.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious that nobody noticed and tried to stop it for a while.
They tried to stop it for days.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was actually really well soundproofed in that school. You'd shut the door and you wouldn't hear a thing in the classroom. But then the second, okay, it's time to go for break, open the door and you hear it. Oh yeah, that's still playing. I
don't think that would work now with everybody having a phone and earbuds, and I don't think that kind of prank would work as well.
I don't think it would last as long.
No.
Do you have a food that you like that not many others do?
I guess this would be controversial, at least in the U.S., is I like broccoli if it's cooked right, or cabbage, or Brussels sprouts. Some people are like, ugh. I enjoy it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. If it's cooked right, it's good.
Yeah,
it's just the ones that can't cook it right. It's a sulfur smell that makes it taste awful.
What does your ideal breakfast include?
I'm not much of a breakfast person, so usually it's a cup of coffee or a few energy drinks or a protein drink. Never been much of a big one.
Fair enough. I was more wondering if you could really have anything for breakfast, no ramifications. What would you like?
Oh, no ramifications? Then I prefer more of a Lithuanian breakfast, which is just piece of bread, some cucumbers, and ham on it, and orange juice. That's what I would usually have.
Oh, okay. That does sound pretty tasty.
Yeah, it's not the traditional, oh, American, you like waffles and pancakes and syrup every day. It's you get burnt out on the sugar.
Yeah, you honestly do. What topic could you talk about the most?
Oh, that's a tie between just games and anime. I've actually had streams where I just talk about anime I've seen or other stuff I've read or watched, because that's what I'm always looking for in my free time, is watching some anime. Because I like to watch at least an episode, like on my lunch break, of one show or something. I am currently watching for seasonal ones Overlord, Shadow House, which I've read the manga, and Classroom of the Elite. I recently did finish Kaguya-sama, Love is War, which is a very cutesy, fun anime.
I can't say I've heard of any of those, but I'd be willing to check them out at least.
Mm-hmm. What kind of anime do you like?
Me, I haven't watched too much recently. I think one of the last animes I watched was Dragon Ball Super.
Oh, yeah, that's
Another one
a bit of a weird one.
It's pretty weird. Another one that stuck out to me was Angel Beats. Another one...
Oh, I love the music in Angel Beats. It's so good.
I was surprised at where they went with Angel Beats.
Mm-hmm. I heard they're making a visual novel of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember they had like the first part of it, because I thought it was kind of sad. I'm like, oh, well, these characters look interesting. Why don't we get their stories?
Honestly, yeah, I fucking
like TK, we never knew what his deal was. Why he was just, his way of communicating was just dancing around and stuff.
Yeah, we never really got to explore his character, and it was a gif of him that got me interested in Angel Beats at all.
Yeah, and I kind of had a headcanon theory about that. That perhaps he just didn't know any Japanese, since they're supposed to be speaking in Japanese. He only knew like broken, like slang, meme Japanese words. I'm like, maybe that's how it is, because they did get an Australian to play him. So not a native Japanese speaker.
Yeah, that would actually track, at least for me.
Because I'd be the same way if they threw me in Japan suddenly. It's like, oh yeah, you go here for a trip? Oh, nope, you're at this Japanese high school.
Yeah, like, I think he was a fresh foreign exchange student, and then Angel Beats.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, big thing for me is Gundam. I watch a lot of that.
Oh, wow. I haven't watched Gundam in years. Have you ever watched Gurren Lagann?
I've been recommended it, but I've never actually committed to watching it.
Yeah, it's a bit more goofier than Gundam.
It might...
If you want something like that. It's also made by the same people who did Kill la Kill as well.
Oh, yeah, that tracks. The art style's similar.
Mm-hmm.
I've
and
also
it's
been
from like 2008, 2009, so the humor might be a little like, ooh, cringe, ooh, that would get you canceled today.
I watched Gundam Build Divers and Gurren Lagann again. It was great. Mm-hmm. It is great. Build Divers was awesome, and Build Divers Re-Rise was even better.
I think the last one I watched bits and pieces of was Gundam Seed. It's been a while.
I would recommend something else.
I think I did one of the old ones from the 90s too. It just,
yeah.
It was one of those things I was always on as a kid.
For me, it wasn't on super duper often. I only got to see Gundam Wing on TV once in a while.
Oh, would the Tenchi Muyo series count as Gundam?
I actually don't know. I've never watched it.
Yeah, it's like a space harem with ship fights. I'm like, I don't know if it would. It's very goofy though. What do you guys think, chat? Is Tenchi Muyo Gundam?
We will see what they respond with.
Exactly.
Who's the most interesting person you've met or interacted with?
I think that would have to be one of the more interesting people I've talked to who've grown up recently, and I've sat in their live stream, would be Realist, the lore cat, who basically does a lot of lores of VTubers. sat in quite a few of his streams. We talked, we goofed around. We have kind of the same sense of humor. Like, if, let's say chat was making a goofy joke about, like, fictional universe, who would, like, who would be the top fighter or whatever, they lean into jokes. They go on with the non sequiturs, while other educational type VTubers, they're very like, okay, we're going to get it here, we're going to stay here. Yeah, but some of them are very inspiring too. It's like, I don't know if I'd want to do educational content myself, but it's just really interesting meeting all these different people who have similar viewpoints, others not so much.
Yeah, everybody certainly has their own perspective, and I've chatted with quite a few different people.
What about you? Anybody in particular that stick out? It's like, wow, that was a doozy there.
In terms of these interviews, I would say 10 Dead Bunnies, that chat went interesting places, as well as Zero EXE. She and I had the longest interview so far.
Oh, wow. I got competition.
That went for 3.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have also done a couple streams where I did one interview and then another one right after.
Oh, rapid fire interviews. That's interesting. I got a question for you. I've seen some of the other bigger streamers doing this, like watch along parties and stuff. Like, what's your feelings on those?
I should do those, honestly. Like in my Discord and stuff? One.
Yeah, like through Discord, or like I just one day decided just to do like a watch along through Summer Wars, and I just had like panels on the side to break it up on stream. And I did it for kind of like, I made my own little like follow fest. It's like, okay, I'm going to try and get some people hyped up, to come in here right before my birthday. So I did that for a while, and I thought I did get like over 100 followers, which was awesome. I hope to do that again sometime, maybe next June. But it was a fun little thing. Nobody showed up because but I had fun watching it. I didn't get DMCA'd straight to outer space, though, which is good.
That is good. Anime after stream, you said?
Anime. Got any recommendations?
You did say Summer Wars. If anybody hasn't seen that, watch it.
Yeah, it is made by the same people who directed the first Digimon movie. It's very similar to that, if you're not into that. That was one I really did enjoy. It's got a lot of fun, very family-friendly oriented too, And it does hit a little close to current events, like, hey, we gotta help each other out.
Yeah. It honestly is amazingly animated, and it's pretty well voice acted too. It's definitely worth checking out.
Whether you do the sub or dub, they're both really good.
I've watched a bit of the Digimon reboot. It's actually pretty good. I'm about halfway through it.
I haven't actually checked that out. I think the last one I kept watching was Frontier, where they become the Digimon, which was kind of fun and trippy. Which is a hot take. Yep, which was a hot take. That some people did not like Frontier. They that was like... I thought it was fun. I'm like, it's kind of a unique concept, but I also loved as a kid the show Shaman King. So it's like, me too. Oh yeah. They did, I know they recently did a remaster of it because it was closer to the manga. And I did watch a good chunk of it. I just was waiting for the rest of it to come out.
Digimon watch parties in my Discord.
Yes!
I'm gonna start that.
Moriarty the Patriot. I've heard that one was also real. I've heard it's like on the recommended list for really good ones. Like, you guys, when people come and chat. I watch anime YouTubers. That's a lot of times what you'll find me doing is I do like watching Mother's Basement because they kind of break it down of like, let's say you want something that's like junk food for anime, like, it's just trash, in their opinion, objectively. That I've heard about. That is like basically Yu-Gi-Oh meets golf, from what I've heard.
Birdie the Mighty?
Birdie the Mighty Wing. It's like
Oh,
Yu-Gi-Oh
Birdie
villains meet
Wings.
golf. It kind of reminds me of that old school Hot Shots golf game. Like
Yeah,
I
it kind
played
of
way too
does.
much as a kid.
A friend got me to watch a few episodes of it. I actually want to watch more.
One anime I also forgot I was watching that's kind of like you gotta get like creative and use a VPN to watch is Made in Abyss Season 2. Which, oh my gosh, Kevin Bacon, the soundtrack is amazing. Like, you should check it out even if it's not your thing, because it's very cutesy, moe, blob, animation style isn't everybody's thing. The tracks are really cool.
Certainly worth checking out then.
Mm-hmm. I did watch a good chunk of Hunter x Hunter too. That's also very, adventure retro-y. I did, when I was a kid, watch all of Dragon Ball, which I like personally better than Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball did have the more story focus to it.
Yeah, and it was more like, whoa, check out this cool stuff.
Yeah, that was definitely Z. Z was all check out the cool stuff.
Yeah, Z was a lot of fighting though. But Kai really kind of expedited it too.
Kai did pretty good for chopping out the filler and
Exactly, getting
prettying
to
it
the
up.
point.
Mm-hmm. Though my preferred way to watch Dragon Ball is the abridged.
Oh yes, their stuff it's sad they're not doing it anymore, but a lot of their voice
Sad, but I
actors ended up
understand it.
yeah, they went on to actually work for Funimation, actually do professional work. I think they even did a dub of an actual anime movie called Hells, which is pretty cool. It's a little raunchy, but it's still cool that some, guys that were just goofing around originally, in their bedroom actually got a career out of it.
Yeah, like Takahata 101, for instance, and I believe Kaiser Neko got to also voice character voices in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, a video game where you create your custom Dragon Ball character. And the voice that Takahata did was Nappa.
That is great.
And he says like all these weird, funny lines for all the different abilities and stuff.
That is just awesome because I've done some amateur voice acting, and it's like it's been interesting. And some of the comic dubs, and to those who want to try it out, I say it doesn't matter if you have a good mic. Just learn about Audacity and other stuff. It's been an interesting trip because I recently got back in the project with the original people that started 2 years ago. Because there's like an opportunity like, hey, do you want to voice the dub in this comic? I'm like, okay.
Honestly, voice acting is something I'd like to branch into.
Voice acting club, you can find a lot of them too. Or on Discord, I can send you the link for voice acting club. They have like basically paid, unpaid, and they're usually pretty nice about a lot of them. Especially for newbies.
I actually seem to have landed myself in a role in an upcoming abridged, but it hasn't been fully announced yet, so I'm not going to be talking about it too much.
That is awesome, though. You got an actual thing. The thing I'm actually voicing one of the characters, it isn't exactly safe for work, family friendly, so...
Link me. I mean, that's like my brand.
Your brand? Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. It's a pretty, it's based off this webcomic called Shelter that deals with people, actually, one of my fascinations is VR chat, getting into using, what would be their version of VR chat, or Valhalla, as they call it. They're, using it as, an escape to escape, real-world issues and problems.
Honestly, I want to get into VR chat myself. I gotta figure out the, I gotta figure out the setting my model properly, because it is possible to get my Vtuber into it, but I gotta shrink down the number of polygons and stuff and set it to the right file. It's a little challenging to figure out, but it is possible. If you could...
I just sent you that.
Oh, you did?
Yep, through Discord.
Perfect.
I'm in the third episode, and I thought you might get a kick out of it. It does get pretty graphic. There is a trigger warning before. It does say that original artist, so it's like, hey, if it's not your thing, that's okay.
Okay. I will definitely be checking it out. I do not have the thinnest skin, but I do my best to match the energy of the people I'm with.
Exactly. Which is why I'm hoping to diversify myself here eventually, too. Because I feel it's frustrating how, at this point, a lot of people are like, well, you're either 100% say-so or you're 100% lewd. And people are a diverse, diverse people.
Yeah, most people I've talked with are not 100% say-so or 100% lewd. I'm mostly lewd, but I'm still quite say-so in different ways. Like, I'm a goddamn supporter.
Mm-hmm. Which I find really, I think that's pretty awesome and noble, because to those who aren't, Twitter savvy or don't bother with it, which I kind of don't blame you, is a VTuber supporter is one that'll be like, all right, I'm going to root for you, I'm going to repost your links, I'm going to do this and that. And some people are just like, I'm frustrated, I'm tired of being tagged for, stuff that's a scam, or stuff I have moral objections to. And they get pissed at me when I say, no, I'm not comfortable retweeting this.
Everybody is entitled to what they want to retweet. I may be a supporter, but personally, if people are trying to get me to retweet non-safe for work stuff and they haven't flagged it, I'm not going to give them a retweet.
Exactly. That's why I love the ones that they have like the little warning, like, okay, this isn't safe for work. Because that's frustrating to be scrolling through. It's like, oh, great, we get to see the private parts. No warning.
Yeah, like when I do post that content, I make sure to flag it for one, and then also in the tags, I also make sure there's not safe for work tag.
Mm-hmm.
I've maybe once made a crude joke with a flagged picture of my cat talking about a spicy pic.
Oh, I think I get it.
Yeah. But I don't typically do that because I want to make sure that people realize if I've flagged something, there's a reason why.
Exactly. And I've noticed a lot of people that used to be on Tumblr have kind of migrated over to Twitter since Tumblr cracked down on the not safe for work stuff.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting what they decide to do in the coming year, because there is some talk about it being bought out, things changing, which I find all of it very fascinating.
Yeah, it's all up in the air, and we don't really know what's going on. Some people have been getting in trouble for not flagging not safe for work stuff, and then other people are no trouble posting it freely, constantly.
Exactly. I know there's been some streamers, like, let's say they're browsing, like, Twitter, they're like, oh, hey, check out my fan art. And they scroll down, it's like, oh, that's not safe for work. They're looking at something say so, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I try to make sure that it's known that my account has that stuff on it, so browser beware. I do try to keep my stuff under appropriate tags.
Yep. Then you actually, when I followed you, you messaged me like, hey, I get most of my stuff's pretty salacious, so I'm like, that's okay. Hey, I like some of the funny memes, though. That's true.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I didn't want to typecast you into your 100% say-so, but I do know that you try to keep your stuff PG-13, so
exactly, the terms of service.
Want to warn some people like that. If you interact with my kind of stuff, it might be recommended, hey, ObserverAndrea follows this person.
Yeah.
So it's
but that's stupid that people just I get frustrated. Well, you follow so and so, so
yeah, so
yeah, it's
some people just like to support. Some people genuinely like my content. Some people just want the retweets.
Yeah. The
It's
retweets
whatever.
don't hurt.
If you could have lucid dreams, what would they be about?
I've actually tried lucid dreams a few times, and a
Oh,
lot
really?
of it is, I have, like, believe it or not, people wouldn't think about it, but I do have some pretty bad anxiety, and a lot of times what I would do is I'd play out, like, okay, how is this scenario going to play out? Okay, what's the worst that could happen? To the point it gets cartoonish, and that's
Sounds
happened
kind
too,
of
and
fun.
actually, a lucid dream inspired my VTubing model in a sense.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it kind of inspired me to do it, and I literally had kind of fallen asleep watching a Let's Play of the game, The World Ends With You Neo, which is a cool game. And
I've heard of it.
yeah, I remember like what I first seen was I seen where the shoulder is, and I'm like, it's a pretty shirt. It looked at the chest, I'm like, okay, this person's well endowed, and the eye. Those were like the three parts I said. So it was so difficult trying to find clothes or explain it to my character designer what I wanted, but somehow it came out perfect. So, I guess you could say I had a calling if you want to be about more, dramatic about it, but
Whatever way works for you for phrasing it
anything
does
in
not matter.
particular inspired your design?
Me?
Yes.
Well, I got the trans colors on my outfit
Mm-hmm.
for I'm trans. I've also got bi pride colors on my sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, I'm essentially made myself in Vroid Studio to start with. And then I was like, how can I actually spruce this up a little? What kind of character traits can I add? And I added these horns. I did have wings for a while, but they kept clipping through my arms as I turned my head, and I haven't been able to figure that out. So I do have a backless top with a tattoo of wings.
Oh, those are horns. I could from like if you look at you straight on, it looks like it's a ribbon for like your hair.
Yeah, some people have thought of that, but when I do turn and stuff, it does become more obvious those are horns.
But that's like the most like I think, when you have demons that have like weird little horns, like I always thought the ones behind the ears were the most practical because I'm like, man, that's gonna make like putting headphones on, putting a shirt on, like really difficult if it's like
Yeah, it would
up
depend on
there.
the headphones. Like for me, I'll just use earbuds, little tiny ones, Bluetooth, no biggie.
Exactly.
And they are the best shape. True. What story has had the biggest impact on you?
Like in like video games, general, or others, anything, or just in anything in particular.
I originally wrote that about books, but I found not everybody does really.
Ooh. Well, one of my favorite books is it's not a safe for work book, and it's kind of a depressing, sad book, but I really do enjoy Valley of the Dolls because it does not, it does talk about there is unfortunately it predicted the opioid epidemic. Okay, get a little political here, but in the
I don't shy away
U.S.,
from politics.
okay, it was written in like the 50s and 40s, so this person wrote about it. It's not till years and years, and it's like, well, it's about these three girls going through varying things. It's like, well, what drove them to that point? Why did they do what they do? So, they all became famous in some shape or form. It's like, why do these celebrities end up like this? And I really did enjoy it because it's not exactly a happy book either. I also do enjoy Ray Bradbury as well. His stuff's always fun, like The Dust Returns. That's another really cool, like trippy haunted house type of thing.
Okay. That is good
I
to
can
know.
also talk about video games as well.
Oh, please.
The big one, I really did, like, believe it or not, Persona 5 actually did kind of, I was in a really bad headspace when I played Persona 5. I was out of work, I had health issues, and I thought to myself, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be stuck in this forever. And it did actually, the songs say life can change really fast, and you're not gonna be stuck in that spot forever. It's going to be hard. There's gonna be times you want to quit. There's gonna be times you want to give up, but you're gonna be able to get over it. I do enjoy the Kingdom Hearts series, but, it's the goofiness I do enjoy. And the little fangirl in me is like, oh my gosh, Disney characters, yay! I didn't enjoy Kingdom Hearts 3 as much, the story, because I feel like I need, like, a flowchart to follow it, and it's a little too much for me.
I played a little bit of the first. I haven't really kept up with them myself.
Oh, it is very, very goofy and weird and all over the place, and there's a lot of fan service, like Disney moments, like, I really do love the Halloween Town world. That is so much fun. But that is, like, my go-to Christmas movie. As, some people consider that controversial. It is!
Their own. What was I going to say? I had something in mind, but I've actually forgotten.
That's okay, take your time. But yeah, Humble, have you played all the series yet? I know they even have a mobile game right now, and I've been watching, like, the, clips of, I believe it's of Dark Road, I believe it's called, the newest one. That's the biggest thing. They literally had it, like, subtitled and stuff, and they just finished up the game. There's supposed to be more to it, but it kind of has, like, the mobile game, it has a traditional mobile gacha system, like, oh, you want this character with amount of stars and stuff, and I know some people, I already waste a lot of money on Genshin, all the pretty people, like, all their characters look like they could totally be VTubers without even, trying.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, ironically enough, the story that got to me the most, at least in recent times, was Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh, really? I was still at the beginning.
Honestly, the first base game, it's all world building. It's really a bit of a trudge to get through. But once you do get to that first expansion, holy shit, they figure out their stride, how they want to do stuff, and it just gets better from there. But, like, it's 60 hours in, so it's hard to say, you should play it. It gets good later.
Yeah, same thing with Genshin. Like, me, it's like, it gets good. It's like, it gets good once you get to Liyue. It's like, okay. It gets good when you get to so-and-so. Like, I kind of stalled at Inazuma, which is a new region. It's like, oh, there's a lot of grinding and stuff. It's a lot of fun, because each of them have, like, a theme. Like, to those who never played it, like, the first part of the area, Mondstadt, is kind of, like, based off of, like, European fairy tales and dragons and the other stuff. While Liyue is based more off of, like, Chinese folk myths, involving, like, other kind of animals fighting some mythical creature. Well, from what I've seen of Inazuma, it's about, like, a tyrannical person, they're trying to figure out what's going on.
Played every game except Recoded and Dark Road. Nice.
Recoded was,
they
they included,
so hey, Praxi.
I think they included the game ones. Hello. But I love Zhong Li's English voice actor. I know some people, like, are very split against subbed or dubbed.
Personally, I just prefer dubbed because I don't like having to distract or divide my attention most of the time because I'm eating while I'm watching stuff. So if I'm eating, looking down, trying to read the subtitles, and keep up with what's going on the screen, I get drawn out of it.
Yeah, it can be, like, very difficult to do as well.
But I do understand that some people just don't like the dubs.
That, or some people, it's like, English may not be their native language, and it's like the subs don't match the dubs. Like, they put the dubs for the subtitles, they don't match, which I've had that happen.
Love all the VAs, but holy heck, they need to cut down on how often the voiced idols take place.
Oh, Barbara! Da 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 da. You hear that so much. It's like, oh gosh.
New song for
Liuwa
your
is Liu
personal hell.
Wei. Oh,
Oh
thank you
yeah,
so much,
Lee Wei.
Humble. Liu Wei. Okay. It's again, names are hard to pronounce too.
They are. They're a pain in the
I know
ass.
they did come up with a new region, I believe, which I haven't had a chance to check out, but I was trying some of the new characters, and I'm like, oh, one of them's a bow user, and I find it a little awkward to play some of the bow users on that game.
They are a little challenging. Every time I hear the words osmanthus wine, I want it to TOS something. I love using that phrase, TOS something.
TOS. That is great.
Leeway?
Leeway?
I thought it was Liuwei,
Yeah, Leeway.
but like pronounced quicker than that.
Yeah. That's kind of funny, though, that if it's literally pronounced Leeway, like, welcome to Leeway, and it's supposed to be like the financial capital or whatever there, and it's kind of funny. Like, oh, you know, you can make money in Leeway.
It's just Leeway.
Just Leeway.
Is there anything on your mind you feel should have more attention brought to it?
Like, in general?
Yeah, in general, just whatever's really on your mind.
I believe I brought this up earlier, but some of the big things is, like, don't be afraid to take breaks. I know there's, like, this hustle, grind culture. I know I'm guilty of buying into it, too. That some of the other people, they got really into it because you're like, oh, you got to pove X amount of time, X amount of this, to the point that people are like, they're not sleeping, they're not eating, they're not helping themselves. And that's very frustrating because I recently, because of my job, I had to kind of take, like, I couldn't stream as much and I was feeling depressed. I'm like, oh, I feel terrible. I can't stream as much. But my friends are like, it's okay. You can wait.
Chat, don't call me out here, please. I've been pretty content heavy or content minded lately because I got no work right now. I got to focus on something. But I will be cutting back on how often I'm talking with people, how often I'm actually working on my content.
That's good, at least, you know, because it got to the point I'm willing to admit I was only getting, like, between my job and streaming, that at one point I was only sleeping 2-3 hours a day, and I was feeling awful. Like, the first couple of weeks, it didn't, like, really catch up to me, but when it hit. And, like, I know people in my chat got pissed at me saying, Andrea, how dare you not sleep more than 2 hours? You know, just take a break. Go eat a sandwich. Just go relax. Go take a nap.
Yeah, I get that too.
I find it interesting, though, that people do subathons and they'll, like, leave the counter running while they're sleeping. Like, subathons just seem like a whole nother beast to me.
Well, I have heard of somebody that had sound alerts turned on, and then it was like, pay money to wake me up while I slept. Dude made like 18,000 in one night.
Dang, that is crazy. And it makes me wonder, I'm like, man, would people even watch with a V-Roid model just sleeping? You know, just like, okay, you hear me sleeping.
And then they play like a loud bang or the epic sax guy or something, and then they would see your reactive image just pop up and, oh god, what? Oh yeah, Twitch.
Which, exactly. That would scare me so much.
That would be so freaky.
It would.
If I actually ever did that, it would be a lot of people playing them sound alerts and then me yelling at Twitch and then going back to sleep.
But I've also seen some people do, like, a tag team subathon or whatever. Like, where they have other people. I'm like, that might be fun. At least, you know, so I can have a break on my voice. You know, I can go out to get, like, food, you know, take a shower instead of leaving me as others sleeping. Which, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the other people were a little sneaky or just leaving that on while something plays in the background.
Personally, I like to be attentive for my streams. I don't even actually like taking a little bit of a break. Like, sometimes after an interview, I want to go stretch my legs, or like after a few hours of just sitting in my chair. But there's that part of me that doesn't want to go on that break because my viewership dips, and I freak out about that.
Exactly.
But I try my best not to think about viewers. But when I go on a break, it's like the only time I'm actually watching my viewer count, because I'm watching Twitch chat on my phone while I'm away from my computer. Because I'm not going to leave
and
Twitch
your anxiety
unattended.
spikes up like, oh no, what if I'm in the bathroom and they're raiding me, and it's like, oh no.
I have been so much more careful with raiding these days. One raid, I wasn't even thinking about anything. Oh, this person's live. Let's just go for it. And then it turns out they were on break, and I felt so bad.
Oh, here's another interesting thing I've heard that some people are, they thought would be, like, it's a controversial hot take. How do you feel about, people that that have a small following are just starting out I'll be live in 5 minutes. Well, you use it yourself. I know some people say, well, what's the point? Why should I wait? Why should I wait?
What do you mean? Like having a starting soon screen?
Yeah.
Honestly,
like I know some people are against it. It's interesting when you think about it.
It is. Some people, like some streamers that I follow, typically going live for they're always on the top of the hour. One of them at least starts up their starting soon screen, not even a countdown, for 20, 15 minutes beforehand.
Oh, wow. That is crazy.
I've also heard that just doing 5 minutes with a little countdown timer on it, that is generally best to give people to join in, get set up, and then you still have a little bit of time on the back end to get ready for things. But then there are people that just jump straight into their streams and not really give a shit.
Exactly. I kind of tried that for a while. I'm like, well, literally the people that hear regularly will literally hear me just saying okay, I'm dropping this on Discord, okay, and just slowly creaking up through there.
Oh yeah, that's true, Praxis. If you're doing you're playing through an entire game but over multiple streams, you definitely want to give your regular viewers a chance to actually get into stream so that they're ready to keep up with the story.
It is, but those streams are kind of hard because I know some people don't have the attention span for it. That's why I'm glad I have VODs or YouTube and stuff. I heard Twitch is getting rid of their 2-week VOD storage, unfortunately.
Wait, they're actually cutting all VOD storage or something?
They're cutting it down to a week, I believe. So instead of 2 weeks, they're cutting that down. And they're getting rid of auto-hosting, too, which is a bummer. I never used the feature, but still. There's some people that literally have, raid trains to auto-raid.
I actually like that auto-hosting thing. Because when at the end of basically every one of my streams, I want to raid into somebody. And usually when I raid into somebody for a night stream, I'd like to see that, oh, hey, Twitch is still going when I get up. That means I've been lurking people this entire time.
Yeah, their alternative to doing it was oh, well, just do shout-outs or whatever. It's really, though? Shout-outs? Yeah, they're oh, you can just put it under your recommended. Their recommended system has gotten a little better, though.
It has gotten a little better. Personally, I do like shouting out people, though I don't tend to shout out others in the middle of a stream when I'm doing interviews. But I do have a cute little overlay that pops up when I do shout-outs, and it plays a little random clip from your streams, gives the link to your Twitch and all that good stuff.
Oh, that's so cute. And it's got my older that has my older pink logo.
Yeah, I think I can set it to recent clips, but I haven't figured that one out.
Thank you, Praxis, for the follow. Yeah.
Praxis is a good friend of mine.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm probably going to go live here eventually. I'm just having too much fun right now.
I don't blame you. I'm having pretty good fun too. We'll be on a different place. The auto suggest will still be on your channel. Oh, okay. I haven't looked into the host discourse yet.
I like following Twitch news. One of the other people that's not like they're streamer-ish, but they're lean more into the marketing side would be Devin Nash. They talk about that.
Okay.
It was really interesting. Like they went through the Twitch TOS with affiliate and like, was it worth it or not? Because here's a hidden secret to a lot of people. Personally, I'm not affiliate yet, but a lot of people just use Restream anyways. So they're allowing you to do multi-streaming now, but it can't be for YouTube or Facebook, but it can be for places like TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, and that is actually only for partners. It doesn't even affect the affiliates.
Exactly.
So, yeah. And besides, I actually want to do multi-stream to YouTube, but I am affiliate, so I'm sticking to Twitch for now.
Exactly. You're playing nice right now. You don't have to wait the 24 hours. Because I know some people are just like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Kick me from it? They're playing that, difficult game.
Yeah, I do also wait that 24 hours just in case, because it would be a pain in the ass to build up the following again from Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I do want to migrate people off of here. Just don't tell Twitch. Shh.
I know. It's a secret.
I mean, I technically could do that. They would just give me shit if they found out. So
You're cheating on me with Miss YouTube.
What would you say you rebel against?
In general, or just like how
just
so?
In general. Is there any particular thing that you would stand up against?
Bullying, one of my big pet peeves. Hateful rhetoric, racism. So a bunch of the hate speech stuff. I stand up against unfair labor practices. I've actually been to several protests about that.
That's good.
And my parents are old hippies, so we get the old non-conform. It's kind of beat into me. So it's like there's a little part of my brain that's always like, screw you, man, you don't have to tell me what to do. When you're dealing with like a supervisor or whatever, it's like, no, Andrea, be nice, be an adult.
Yeah, unfortunately, you gotta play nice there.
Exactly.
What do you wish was illegal?
In general?
Yeah.
I really think we should cut down on the 40-hour work week. Because since we have gotten more productive, it's not as necessary. Like a lot of places can function with a 30-hour work week or so on and so forth. Because after 30 hours, a lot of people, there's studies showing that they get less productive. They don't, their mind feels like they're melting. There's a lot of sitting around twiddling your thumbs. And I am glad that work from home is becoming more normalized. Because some people work better in that setting. Because you don't want to hear about Alan the accountant showing his pictures from his trip to Hawaii or whatever for the 7th time. You work better doing your own thing, and you get stuff done more easily. And it really depends on the people too, because some people do better in that environment, others not so much. Personally, I'm a little bit happier with smaller teams than working with like huge, gigantic teams that could just seem a little daunting.
McDonald's work at home would be weird.
Yes! You could do customer service. Like, do their phones. Like, oh, what? You didn't like their Happy Meal? Yeah.
What's the weirdest way you've met somebody?
In general, or through VTubing so far?
Both, if you got stories.
Well, this is gonna be a little weird. How I met the guy that that inspired me to stream was, well, this is kind of depressing, but there was a time I was on Tinder. I was lonely. And I seen their Twitch streamer. I'm like, oh, cool. I guess I'll talk to them. They seem nice enough. And unfortunately, I got friend zoned. And I had asked them a lot about Twitch. And that childish part of mine is like, well, I could do Twitch. I could do Twitch. I don't need no person. And that's what ended up happening for a while there. That was one of the weirder ones.
That is kind of out there.
It is.
And Twitch in one story?
Yeah. They are an IRL Twitch streamer, but they're switching to be VTubing, which is cool. They do show up on my stream every now and again.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's nice. They really, and they're big into like the shooting games or racing games. And they're like, oh, they don't mind sitting there watching some chill games and stuff. And I think Twitter would be one of the weirder ones where I talked to somebody and they did. One of the weirder Twitter trends they've done is like the circles of like, oh, these are all the circle people. Like I got put in like the first ring and I was surprised because I just talked to this guy through Twitter comments. Because I think they made some
orbits.
Yeah, the orbits, the little rings.
Mm-hmm.
It was like my first one. I'm like, oh, I'm flattered. That's how I kind of met, like, one of the, I mentioned, big followers I was having, like, a hard time with, the bots. And they recently got back in order. Their follower count's going back up, which is good. They're kind of switching between, like, they wanted to be an IRL streamer. They were first a VTuber, switched to IRL, quit, just been a VTweeter, basically a VTuber on Twitter, and are going back to being a VTuber.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a nice person overall. They're also, I guess you'd be considered a LootTuber, but, like, even they have, like, a kind of, like, crass comment, and I just kind of played off as, like, a little sister, like, oh, boy, can we go get burgers or something? And, they'll interact back, because I know any interaction on Twitter really does count in general. It could make somebody's day.
It really does.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I did do a clip of the RR recently, and I don't know if I can do it right. I can give it a shot.
I did. The first Ara I did on stream is actually in my voice training tips video on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it catches people off guard sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Can we hear it from both?
Oh, I can do an Ara. Ara.
You sure you're ready for this?
Oh, I'm fastening my seatbelt.
Ara.
Oh, wow.
Very
that
different
is
from
incredible.
the one. Oh, thank you. Very different from the one in my video. Because it's basically like, Ara.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've got twice the range of a regular, cis voice actor.
That is awesome, though. Like, you can make your voice go deep and, like, make it sound like an actual normal person. Because the deepest I can go is, like, it's like the Seuss voice from Gravity Falls or the Dingbat voice. Like oh, you know what, dude? This is really sweet, dude.
Oh, dude, that was pretty sweet, dude. Dude. I love playing with the voices.
Yeah, it's fun messing with voices.
Now I have the clip. Yay.
Oh, no. The fun times you can have with TikTok.
True. I should probably make it a TikTok. I gotta put more on
I did it with, like, whispering. It's like, oh, okay, this is a thing.
Yeah, ASMR is pretty popular. It's not my thing, but...
It's weird, though, that people are getting, like, demonetized for, like, wholesome stuff. Like, people just whispering their grocery list or something,
Really?
Yes.
Well, there's
I believe
content for everything, I guess.
Yeah, the artist Straub was actually having an issue with it. I remember, seeing they had, they're getting demonetized and all kinds of other stuff. While, yes, there are those people that prefer to do it in a lewd sense, it's not right, some of them. It's just, they're doing a lot of wholesome, normal stuff.
Yeah, I do like to make sure that I'm upfront with the lewd. People know what they're getting into, hopefully.
Yep. Well, I did listen to a little bit of your VTuber group debut, and I thought it would be a lot worse, but it wasn't that bad.
I was hoping it would get raunchier, but I'm surprised it didn't. Though there
I
were
know.
still some segments or some parts that made me think, oh shit, am I going to get in trouble with Twitch for this?
Exactly. Demonetized.
I don't care about getting demonetized. I expect that. I had one video demonetized because of a sound alert that played, so it's like, I don't put ads on my videos.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple of false copyright strikes from video games.
Copyright strikes?
In particular, yeah, they're trying to. They're false, though. They were from Cuphead in particular. It's just like, yeah, I'm talking over it, so I just turned the volume down, and I'm like, yeah, no, this is fair use. It's not enough, like, unless somebody wants to hear the boss battle theme in the background and me talking over it, I don't think they're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is my jam, man, dancing around.
Yeah, and the copyright claims have to come from the actual copyright owner, otherwise they're going to get in legal shit.
And I googled the person too. It's like, who the heck is this person? And I could not find them.
They could get in so much trouble.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna say this is fair use, and they let it go. And I'm like, all right, well, let's play this game. I know, in particular, Suesa is one that's really bad about that.
Yeah, they like their copyright.
Yeah, it's still a new thing for the Japanese system being like, oh yeah, people actually buy this stuff they're sharing with us.
Somehow my Super Robot War 30 stream got copyright striked. It's not even out on YouTube.
Wait, seriously? Is it like Black Worldwide?
Like, it not even published, but the auto thing was like, no, I guess. Jeez.
That is weird.
Because, like, I've had, the Epic Sax guy meme, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had that play in a VOD, and then before it even went public, I had copyright claim on there.
It's
free to use, but you can't put ads on it.
Mm-hmm. One of the more frustrating things I've learned as a content creator is you go through YouTube looking up like cool playlists and stuff, and they say, oh yeah, DMCA free, you're not gonna be tripping the bots. And they lie, they trip the bots.
Yeah.
I had to go through like some other ones.
I've also got friends that play just any old music for their stuff, but it doesn't get put, copyright claim, not strike. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are very different things.
Yeah.
But, like, they don't have the, the music in their VOD, because you can actually disable that through OBS.
That is interesting, though. You can do that, but it's kind of like, if someone's, I can't watch all of it, they're rewatching, it's kind of, loses the vibe a bit.
Yeah, like, you can play music on stream, but, like, there's not a high possibility of getting copyright claimed live, but there is a risk of it. You're just safer if you don't. I tend to use Streambeats specifically, because they got multiple playlists on Spotify. I pay for it anyways, because I don't like listening to ads when I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just got background music.
Streambeats is good. I like Game Chops in particular, because they do, a lot of just like fun like video game remixes. One I'm personally obsessed. I'll have like played in my head is the Zelda remix one they have.
Nice. What's the most amazing natural occurrence you've ever witnessed?
Like nature-wise, or just how so?
I was thinking nature-wise, like, when I wrote the question, I had thought myself about the Aurora Borealis.
Oh, okay. I've actually never seen the Aurora Borealis, though. I've been witness to and gotten pretty close to several tornadoes.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's not intentional. It's like
Did
when
you
I was
live?
camping. Yeah, I was all right. One of the first time it happened was my first time I went to summer camp. So I was about 7, 8 years old,
Oh.
and we're about 2 hours away from my house, and it was my first time at this particular one, and I had been kind of nervous a year before. I'm like, oh, I don't know. So first time there, we were at the beach. They had like a little beach there, and I remember they had like a little ice cream shack. But it was, there wasn't like anywhere to take cover, just like picnic tables and like a little portico, a little tent over top for like party. And I
Yeah.
remember, suddenly they were saying, oh, you see like phone calls, they're telling us to take cover. And I'm like the camp counselor who I was with, my group, were like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to run from one side of camp to the other like an action movie. And I remember just seeing, all these little kids, you gotta see between 7 years old and 17, just running across the ground, like, running into one of the main buildings, and rain pouring and stuff. I remember looking back, seeing the funnel cloud touching down off a distance. It was incredible, and it was my first tornado, but also scary.
Oh yeah, I imagine that would be horrifying to be experiencing.
Yeah, that wasn't my first. That was my first one. I had a few other ones. It wasn't um as close, but it was like last year we had one. Literally, I was after work. I was working a day shift job at the time, and I was sitting in my room just watching YouTube, like always. And I'm like, boy, that rain's sure coming down really loudly. And I just see on my phone it says tornado in your vicinity, take cover. I'm like, what? Because I didn't hear the alarms go off. I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. So I literally go, out of my room into the living room so I can see outside. And I'm trying to pull up my radar. I was with my family at the time. They're trying to pull up their radar on the phone, and suddenly it goes down. So we're looking outside, kind of like watching a football game. Like, up. Should we take cover yet? Yes. No. Oh. But no, it was kind of scary because we were out of power for about a week, a little over.
Oh
But we did
jeez.
have a generator. We were all right. But it was just it was like 100 degrees. It was just miserable. And we found out when they meant take cover is about a mile down the road. So it's like, oh, okay. We probably should have actually taken cover. Because we were waiting for like our neighbors, like, patio furniture to go fly and say if that was a good distinguisher.
Yeah,
But yeah, I guess that could be natural occurrences. Because the
that
part of the
is.
U.S. I'm in is in the Tornado Alley, so it's like not that big a deal.
Yeah, I'm just glad you're okay from it.
I'm okay.
Would you ever try space tourism if given the chance?
I like if it was normalized, like going to on the plane, like going to Disney World or whatever, or like as in the first one, I probably would eventually, but there's so many cool places on Earth I want to go for first before I do that. And it's like, I don't know, I get a little intimidated watching some of those like people go up in those rockets, and I see the memes of like, are they going to come back?
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Would you?
I personally would, yeah. At least once. I'd want to see the stars from outside of our atmosphere.
Exactly. Since the pictures probably don't do it justice. I remember watching the clip of William Shatner coming off the space rocket and him just like in tears, freaking out. And I'm like, yeah, I'd probably be the same way too. While Jeff Bezos is making like meme jokes and stuff.
Yeah, when there could be a lot more actual good he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you resent paying for the most?
Uh, let's see, VTubing. Well, so far, like, with stuff that I could do free, or I felt like I got ripped off?
Um, anything that really comes to mind. For me personally, it's like housing, food, that kind of stuff.
Um, the biggest thing, I can't really say if it's anything like IRL that's really like frustrated me per se, that feels like I've gotten ripped the hell off, would be, besides the US healthcare system, but yeah, I need like a drum thing. But besides that, I would say like I really should have just been a little bit more patient with, finding overlays and stuff, because I paid like $300 for like custom screens, and I'm like,
Oh,
ooh,
wow.
yeah. Yeah, they're really pretty and they're all like hand-drawn pixel art, but still I'm like, man, I could have found something better.
Yeah, I definitely recommend people try out Picrew Vroid Studio before going for a live 2D, because it's an investment.
I meant overlays, but yeah, Live 2D, I've seen the fairest one was about 1,200. And that was like for a full body with all the bells and whistles.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see some of these people paying like 10 grand. I'm like, oh my gosh. To be able to have that amount of money to throw away, to
If you
put
can
into it.
comfortably do it, go for it.
Exactly. It's just, I don't think that's going to happen for maybe a few years unless I'm like a pro streamer.
Mm-hmm.
Or I get picked up by an agency or something. Oh, another interesting question. If you had the opportunity to join an agency, with or without your avatar, would you?
An agency like HoloLive?
Hololive, Niji Sanji, Prism Project, you name it.
Me? No.
Okay, well, why?
I prefer to keep... Excuse me, I got a bit of a frog in my throat, it seems. I'm definitely going to be keeping on the 18 plus stuff, and I do not want to be contractually obligated to force my content into one specific kind of way. And I just want to be able to focus on my stuff, build up my platform while honestly talking with everybody I can and promoting them. I'm not really doing this to get all the monies. Any support I do get, I'm extremely grateful for, but I'm doing this because I want to, and I'm doing it my own way.
That is awesome, though. Like, that is actually a really good, healthy outlook, because there's been times I'm like, I know a lot of people, they get frustrated because they're not seeing any growth, or, the green-eyed monster of jealousy. The biggest hard part is like, oh, well, my friend blew up and they've been doing this less than that. The thing about that is, for VTubers, is I've seen some really good ones graduate and others come and go. I mean, they had a big one graduate recently, Tsukumo Sana. She recently graduated, and that was kind of a big deal. It's like...
Graduating?
Yeah. Basically quit doing VTubing. They gave back their model. They gave back everything. But they were with Hololive. And there's some people that were just into you, like, yeah, I either A, lost interest, or B, other opportunities came up.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anybody that wants to pursue that dream has my support. It's just not the dream for me.
Exactly.
What workers would you say have the worst jobs?
In general?
Yeah.
Healthcare, retail, fast food workers, construction.
Agreed.
Trying to think of anything else that, like, a lot of people get, like, the really short end of the stick when it comes to working and stuff.
Yeah, my favorite
Like, I feel
answer...
like they're good.
My favorite answer for which workers have the worst job is workers.
Yes. And even people think they don't get tired from an office job. Yeah, you do.
Oh, you do.
It may not be physical.
It
Like,
gets...
some days I'm not physically exhausted from being a nurse, but it's emotional exhaustion, You gotta be an adult.
It's emotionally and mentally taxing.
Exactly. Or I know accountants that get so exhausted because, yes, you're just in a room crunching numbers, but, I'm guilty of doing this with accountants. It's just like the disaster these people bring in, on paper plates, napkins, all kinds of strange objects. It's like, oh, crunch these numbers.
Yeah, you're going to an accountant, at least have a basic spreadsheet, please?
Exactly. Make it look nice for our accountants out there.
Yeah, just don't use napkins to do your taxes. What change would you like to see in the VTuber community?
In like general or how so?
Like if you could make one change to the VTuber community, what would it be?
Well, that's actually really tough because it is pretty inclusive too. I guess the biggest thing currently would be to get rid of the some of the bots and the scammers that are just so terrible because I see all these horror stories of people being ripped off and stuff.
Yeah, the bots are honestly part of the worst part of the VTuber community.
Mm-hmm. That is just like some of the hardest, that is very frustrating. And I feel for you guys.
I believe she's registered nurse.
Yeah, I'm a nurse. I work as a nursing home nurse.
Oh,
yep,
okay.
Healthcare. Yeah, so it's been really difficult lately and the funny thing is I've had a lot of people actually, like some of my residents, like I have a hard time keeping a straight face because they'll just say something so off the wall, I'm like dying. Like this is one that made me laugh so hard was, we had a resident literally, like I don't think they've ever been on the internet, but if they would, they'd be a troller. I am the shit lord. Kneel before me, peasants, in front of your king. I'm the shit lord. I'm just like, I was dying when they said that. They said that with like 100% seriousness.
Just all the conviction in the world.
Yes, and I was just dying. I'm like, oh my god, I love this. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, since we're getting towards the end here, I'm going to try and get my own stream started here.
Alrighty, I do just have one more question.
Mm-hmm.
What things in your life are you grateful for?
Well, that's so many to choose. Honestly, I've been very fortunate, as I know not a whole lot of other people have been fortunate when it comes to having VTube support. Having such a good support network has just been amazing, and I've been fairly lucky about, like, my family doesn't really care. They don't understand the whole VTube thing or why I'm doing it. Honestly, they just think of, like, oh, Andrea's making a video game. I'm like, yeah, I guess, because I've talked about models.
Yeah, my family loosely knows what I do, but they don't really follow my content. My dad follows my TikTok.
Oh, that is awesome. Like, yeah, I put my parents, they would not know how to do that. Like the TikToks. They're just like, I don't understand it. Actually, before we started here, I was literally explaining to my father on how to fix the Roku because it was not working.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, it stopped working. I think it's broken. I'm like, did you, and literally it was the HDMI cord was slightly off. So it's like, okay, did you jiggle the cord? Yes. Because he went from like several different platforms, which has been one of the harder things is trying to cut the cord. Oh, you have an announcement? I will, since I'm going live right now, I will be doing my, Sonic Adventure stream.
Ooh, Sonic Adventure, yay.
Yeah, we're almost towards the end of it, but we're going to say goodbye to my, Oh, okay, here we go. We're going to say goodbye to my beach stream, my bean suit. Right, so it's my goodbye, summer. Hello, September. And Sonic Adventure. We are doing the Steam version, though.
The director's cut, right?
The crap. Yep. The one. Yeah, that one. And I really wish they would have somehow come into found a way. The VRM games but from the Dreamcast ones.
Oh my
That
god.
was I played the heck out of those as a kid, and that was something I did way too much. I wish they would have been able to somehow incorporate it. You know, that is the one thing I do miss.
What? A guest going live at the end of an interview with an audience primed to check out her content? Of course, we're going to raid somebody else. But yeah, whenever you're essentially done this, we will drop in the raid for you. Do you want to give yourself a shout out right before the end of the video?
All right. I'm Andrea, or ObserverAndrea, either way. I make comfy, cozy content. And current games that we are playing: Stardew Valley, My Time at Portia, and Cuphead, my Zero to Hero run, where I'm trying to, be a Cuphead Zero, become a Cuphead Hero, become good at the game, because it's a hard game.
It really is.
Actually, yes, I do have a Discord server. I need to actually get more fairly active in it, but I do.
Well, this has been a ton of fun. I'm going to get this raid going.
Okay.
It's starting.
It is? Oh, no. Okay, let's take a look then. Yeah, raid myself with 9 viewers. That's... Okay, yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty sizable raid.
That is awesome. Hold on, let me check.
Especially for starting up your stream.
Exactly. That is awesome. Let me go to here, my stream manager. Why isn't it showing up? Trying to switch over to my phone. Okay, and OBS crashed.
I'm already raiding. OBS crashed? No.
OBS crashed. You guys crashed my OBS. Wow, that's a first. Yeah, OBS literally crashed. Wow, you guys are so awesome. You crashed OBS.
Am I still live on my end?
Yeah, I can still hear you. But OBS crashed on my end. That is incredible.
I mean, we're talking through Discord, but I was just worried that the raid got messed up, so I would just have it set to hosting your offline stream while we're trying to get you online.
I know. Oh my gosh. Oh goodness, I might have to actually restart OBS here, because it's just... I've never had that happen. Well, so much for actually having the OBS fixed.
It looks like you're fairly well animated. Are you moving around some?
A little bit, yeah. Here, let me do this. And let me see how it sounds on my end. Switch headphones. Oh, I see the raid now.
Oh, the raid did go through. I wasn't seeing any notification on my end.
Okay, that's good, at least. You guys get to see my awesome swimsuit. Thank you, everybody, so much for the raid.
Make sure we stick around for the rest of that team.
I love that. Blind Lesson 3.
Yeah. I wanted to just use Briley, but that was taken first.
Oh no! What the... Oh no!
It went off.
I'm offline! Oh no! What happened? OBS crashed! Right as the music was going in too.
No!
Are you still alive?
No, the raid went into your stream.
Oh my gosh.
But the recording is still going a little bit.
Wait, say OBS launch anyways. Why is it doing that? Okay, let's try that again. What happened to everything? Oh, goodness gracious me. There we go. Here, let's try starting again. But yeah, thank you for the raid. Alright, let's try and do this. Yeah, I know a plug in air, but I guess... Let me try and see if I can turn the settings down, maybe. Oh no, it's gonna crash again.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Wait, I'm not following.
Wow. Whoa, there we go. I've seen some of it. No, it's crashing again. I don't think my model's even on here.
I'm not seeing your model this time.